All right, let's see if this works any better here. Start a poll. I'm going to ask again. I'm going to put up a poll that asks if the stream is still choppy. Still have bars on my end. Here's the. Give everybody a second to roll in here. Technical difficulties. That is always fun. See if I can get a new thumbnail up. Fascinating behind the scenes stuff here. Give us time to move over. No, for sure, Terry R. Let's I want to see if this stream is choppy over here. So we did a full reboot and we'll give everybody time to hop in here. Let's see. Because otherwise, I'm ready to go. So hopefully we can make this work. You should do more on Samuel Walker. Yeah, you know what? I can do one tomorrow. I got a good bit of Samuel Walker information. Not choppy yet. Don't jinx us, Terry R. Hopefully it's not choppy at all. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to take a look at what could be the root of that problem. Because I know people are going to yell at me about the Wi-Fi, but I got full connection. Got full connection through YouTube. So what's up, Freddie V? We're just letting everybody kind of come over here. And I guess I'll preface the story one more time to give everybody a chance to come over. But we are going to be talking about Herman Lehmann's time with the Apache. And after in the setting for this story is he's been with the Apache for a couple years. He's kind of in an apprentice role as a warrior, and they're kind of adopting him into the tribe and training him for his role as a warrior. Let's see, Tommy Magnum coming in, video clear and signal clear. Very cool. Awesome. I guess we just had to reboot. That's just a pain in the butt, obviously, because then we got to get everybody moved over here. So I was trying to exhaust the other options before that. Evan, we're back. We're back, baby. No stopping us. Let's see. Artemio. But yeah, Samuel Walker will be doing that. Sorry, I'm just looking through the chat one more time. But this will be Herman will be roughly, my estimation is 13 to 14, probably possibly a little bit older than that. Working that out. I don't know. Good evening again, Plowboy. What's up, guys? Thanks for coming over. Thanks for making the move. It's I don't know. Hopefully everything's working good now, but that's just part of the business. That's part of streaming is getting that worked out. Give it another couple of minutes. And anything if you're just getting here. So yeah, Herman is in his mid-teens. He's in an apprentice role, and this will be one of his initial forays into combat that we'll talk about first in chapter 11 of his book. And then we'll talk about him being attacked and a village being attacked by the Comanche and the result of that attack in the larger Comanche Apache conflict. We're going to talk about a lot of really important Apache figures. So it's an interesting culmination of the story. Did Herman and Adolf have similar lives? Because I heard both and they sounded the same. Yeah, very similar lives. And they actually met up the last live stream we did at the very end of chapter 10 in this book. He recounts meeting a group of Comanche that they had a truce with at the time, and they had Adolf Korn with them. They had just taken Adolf Korn, and Herman and Adolf both spoke. That's tough to say. Both spoke German, which was a de facto language in the Hill Country. The German settlers are probably the preeminent group of settlers in central Texas and the Hill Country. There's even a particular dialect of Texas German. So that would be the language most commonly spoke in the Hill Country, not English. So they both spoke German. It's so tough. They conversed for a little while and kind of commiserated. And Herman told them, like, you'll be okay. But I think he said it in this kind of like, yeah, you'll be okay. But they both ended up being Comanche warriors, and neither one of them wanted to return back to American society. Adolf Korn actually lived in a cave till his passing away. I didn't realize he was like 41 when he passed away. So I don't know what happened. I've been trying to figure out exactly what happened to Adolf Korn, but Tonight we'll be talking about Herman just after he met Adolf Korn and his first real foray onto the raiding path. Well, his second, really, officially. Looks good now. I think the problem could have been caused by Mr. Sweeney's tinfoil hat. It very possibly could have been. I don't see. Oh, Nick Sweeney just got here. He just got here. Fashionably late as always. Glad you made it, Nick Sweeney. Let's see. I love your show. It's amazing. I usually never comment, but thank you for what you do. Absolutely, Jamie. Comment anytime. That's half the fun of the show is we mix it up in the chat a little bit. So glad you made it. If I lived in that time period, I would definitely wouldn't live out on the open. Probs would reside in a fort or town. Yeah, me too. A lot of people were forced out on the front. Well, a lot of people just had nowhere else that they could afford. Like if you wanted to own land and start your own farm, you would kind of have to go to the Texas Hill Country if you didn't have the money to buy it back east. Let's see. Hi, all. Stephen Miller. Glad you made it. Glad you made it. Don't worry about being late. Tonight's a good night to be late because we had a little problem with the initial stream for whatever reason. We're thinking Nick Sweeney's tinfoil hat. So we had to reboot it and we're just starting again now. So I think we got 24 people. Yeah, we could jump in now. Tom Magnum says, I got hooked on your channel after watching the Battle of Beecher Island. Right on. Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes to do. My family was here in 1616. Wow, that's a long time. Okay, so in this story, this is actually chapter 11. Before we leave, I'll post the link to the. You know what? Yeah, let me just roll into it. But I'll post the link to purchase for the Herman Lehmann. I believe it's called 9 Years Among the Indians is the name of his book. If you just put in Herman Lehmann in Amazon, it'll pop up. But this is chapter 11. The name is a little controversial, so you'll just have to look up the title of the chapter itself because I think I'll get flagged for it, which probably means it's a good chapter, right? So, oops, I'm on the wrong notes. That was this morning's notes. This is tonight's notes. So, in our first adventure on this, there's 12 Apache and Herman. They head out from their camp into north central Texas, more the northern part of central Texas. They come across 4 buffalo hunters. They're in this hilly area. We've kind of talked about this area before, probably, I don't know, 4 hours north of Austin. So Austin's kind of in the middle of the state. So that gives you kind of an idea of where it's at. They come across 4 buffalo hunters. 3 of the buffalo hunters go straight up this hill and take cover behind this rock. And one of them rides back towards their camp about, I don't know, a mile away. The 3 that run up the hill, they stick together, they find some cover, and the Apache just pretty much leave them alone. And they chase the lone guy that took off back towards the camp. They overtake him before he's able to get to the camp. It's between them and the camp is this ridge. So they can't see the camp yet. And they track him down, take him prisoner, and he's going, please, 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 like, don't unalive me. He's speaking Spanish, and the Herman recalls him as being a Mexican man. He's going, don't unalive me. There's nobody at the camp. You can go take everything you want. And they go, cool. All right. Well, Herman, you stay here with this guy, and we're going to go check out the camp and do some raiding. So he's like, all right. And he's got his bow pulled back, or he's got his, he's ready to pull it back, and he's watching this guy. The rest of the Apache, Carno Viste and all of his boys go over the hill, and then suddenly you hear a bunch of bang, 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 pew, pew fire. I hate saying that. That sounds so bad. But a lot of gunfire erupts from the camp. Carno Viste and the guys come back over the hill, and they say, this guy lied to us. And a crucial element is that while this gunfire is happening, pew, pew fire, is happening in the camp, the Mexican man who Herman is watching starts picking up rocks and chucking them at Herman, trying to, discombobulate him so he can run away. But Herman manages to block him kind of, with his hands, and then pulls the bow back and keeps this guy at bay. Carno Viste and his boys come back, and they're like, well, this guy lied to us. And then Herman's like, oh, not only did he lie to you, he's been throwing rocks at me. This guy's been throwing rocks at me. And Carno Vista is like, oh, he's throwing rocks at you. Herman thinks this guy is going to get beaten up, right? He thinks he's going to get punished, but he doesn't think it's going to escalate this quickly. Carno Vista goes, this guy's throwing rocks at you? And Herman's like, yeah, yeah, man. It's not cool. Carno Vista goes, shoot him with the arrow. Shoot him right here. And Herman's like, whoa, 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 hold on, hold on, hold on. Like, he's just throwing some rocks. Like, I just think maybe we should give him a little bit of a thumping, like we don't need to take it this far. And Carno Vista, again, there's a lot of instances where Carno Vista pulls out the old 6-shot pew pew, right? Again, he's like, do it or I'm gonna unalive you. And so Herman's like, okay. I thought there'd be a little bit more tortured explanation, a little bit more. I keep thinking this. I guess it's my fault. A little bit more, tortured explanation of our. Trying to think of a word that won't get me flagged. I don't know. Empathetic explanation of him, emotional explanation of him having to unalive his first combatant, because it's not even in combat. The guy's like going, please don't, and they're just like, do it. And but the sentence just says, so I shot him. And then they move on to the next thing. And he's like, so he's laying there on the ground, and the guys flip him over, and they say, I have to, what's the word? They make me work with silly words here, guys. I have to de-scalp him, right? So he does that, and he's just terrified, horrified by it. The noises, the sensations, all of it, just the viscera. He can't stand it. And then he's there holding this trophy that just freaks him out. Like, he doesn't even want to hold on to it anymore because he's 13, 14 years old. And these guys are having a good time with it. Carno Vista and his boys are having a good time with this whole thing. And then they get real serious, and they take the arrow that he used and extract it, and then make him carve a cross on it. Like, he says a cross. I'm thinking he means an X. But he doesn't even know why he had to do that. Even in his recollection, he's like, I don't really know why they made me do that, but they took the arrow, they smoked a pipe with tobacco. He said they would smoke it, blow the smoke, and then pull it back towards their chest and kind of wave it over themselves, but they didn't do it to him. And then they kind of extended their arms and made some kind of salutations and prayers, seemingly to the sun. He says, seemingly to the sun. It seemed like they were asking for, the blessing of the Great Spirit. Then they put the arrow back on the unalived man's chest, and then went back to the place where the buffalo hunters were ensconced. But it's the end of the chapter. He just says, well, we went back to the 3 buffalo hunters, but they were still there, so we just moved on. And then we went on a raid for another couple of weeks throughout the territory, and we stole a bunch of horses, and we went home. And that's kind of the culmination of that chapter. But it seems like he almost keeps it brief to really keep from going into it much more, because he did not want to do that. You can tell it really, really got to him, because it wasn't even in combat. It was like, this guy's going, no, please don't. And then they're just like, you do it or you're going to get it. And he was put in a tough situation. And then he had to do the whole ritualistic rituals post-mortem, right? So a terrifying, traumatic story, one of many in poor Herman Lehmann's life. But he, like I said, wanted to stay out there. I don't think he just did not have a great time with the Apache. He just did not jive with the way that they did things. And he ends up running away. But at least for a while, he seems to have had a loyalty to them for a while. And then eventually was just like, this sucks, I'm leaving. He went to the Comanche, which is ironic because the very next story in his book tells of a Comanche attack. So the timing he seems either ambiguous on or unknowing of. He wasn't able to keep track of exactly what years this happened, how old people were. So he just kind of starts telling a story. He doesn't say, oh, it was the year 1875 and I was 16 years old. He says, he talks about the last battle, and he says, then one time I was riding with my friend. So it just jumps into the next story. So I don't mean to be stingy with the age and details. There just isn't any provided. So, but in the very next chapter, chapter 12, he says he's out riding with his friend Bobo. Now, Bobo's got a nice horse. Uh, Herman has an old mule. He says that because the mule's been whacked on the nose too many times and been, like I said, the Comanche or the Apache weren't super gentle with their animals, but the mule has become bulky. Like it won't listen very well. And mules are kind of known for being stubborn anyway, but this particular mule is particularly difficult to make him obey. But they're out riding, and then all of a sudden, a group of Comanche appear from over the hill. They attack Bobo and Herman, and Bobo and Herman turn to make a run for it. When they turn to make a run for it, the mule is the slowest, so he's the farthest back towards the Comanche, and an arrow hits the mule right in the rump, and that makes the mule go into like Super Mario's brother mode, where he's just like super fast. Like he freaks out and Herman can't even stop him. He's having to hug the mule's neck because even as he's not able to hold on with the reins. He's going super fast towards the village and he looks to his left and there's Bobo and Bobo's going, "Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't go too fast because they're going to catch me." But Herman can't stop this mule. This mule's on its own trip now. So he looks back and kind of looks at Bobo and that's all there is. He gives him a look like I can't do anything. And the mule goes all the way back to their village and straight through the village. And he's yelling like he's kind of like Paul Revere in this case. He's going, "The Apache are coming. The Apache are coming." The mule goes straight all the way through the village. And he's going, "Well, I got to jump off now, right? Like I can't just keep riding past the village." So he manages to kind of slow him down a touch, jumps off, gets one of the ponies that's on the edge of the village, rides it back into the village. By this time, Bobo has been overtaken. The Comanche have already got poor Bobo. He's down on the ground. He's got all the posthumous doings done to him already. He's in the middle of this battlefield now where there's a battle line of Comanche that are coming towards the Apache village. And the Apache village has a line of warriors in front of it that are getting ready to take the Comanche charge. $10 super chat from Pet Detectives Adventures. His stories are probably in chronological order. In general, yes. It just doesn't give me exact dates. It doesn't give the reader exact dates. Like it doesn't say, "Oh, the Buffalo Hunter story happened in 1874, and then later in 1874." It doesn't say that. It just says, it ends the story and it starts the next one. So just so you're aware, sometimes I think it would be a little better to have more context of just how old he is, because the difference between a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old guy is substantial. So it would be easier to have that, or it would help provide a little more context. But yes, they are in general in chronological order. But this battle starts unfolding. This Herman and Bobo were attacked about 10 a.m. and there's 40 Comanche. For the Apache being a generally smaller people or generally less in number, this particular village had plenty of guys in it. Seems like there was about 60, so far more than the 40 the Comanche had, and the Comanche are now attacking a fortified position. They spend seems like 6 or 7 hours going back and forth. The Apache receive a charge, drive it off, and then the Comanche retreat, and again and again and again. And sometimes there's all 40, sometimes there's 30. But as this goes on, Herman doesn't give exact numbers, but he says many Comanche are unalived and many more wounded. So I'm thinking over 50% of them are unalived or wounded. So finally, by early evening, the Comanche decide they kind of go over the hill they had initially come from and decide there's no more use in trying to attack this fortified position. That's really not a part of any Native American culture's traditional war strategy. They will not sacrifice numbers as maybe a Asian or European force might. It's just not. That's not the way they fight. That's not the way they conduct warfare. So by early evening, the Comanche decide we're going to have to retreat. They make a couple charges to pick up the wounded that they can, because they could do it from a riding horse or from a running horse. They could reach down, pick up a wounded guy and pull him on the back of their horse. Many firsthand accounts of seeing that. So they did their best to do that and then disappeared over the hill. This after this battle, the whole village is just up in arms. But they have several of their guys unalived, obviously Bobo. So it's a tragedy for the village as well, and they flee the area and they end up wandering up north, the northwest, somewhere into like the northeast corner of New Mexico or the southwest corner of Utah, somewhere in there. He says the Apache know of a lake in the desert. I don't know if that's Salt Lake though, because he doesn't say that it's a salt lake, and he doesn't say that it's very big. Jaden Jaden Seeley with a level 1 membership. Oh, thank you so much, man. We'll make it worth your while. Adding a bunch of stuff for members. So thank you very much. That's awesome. Makes it worth doing the streams. Let's see what Apache band. Let me finish the story real quick. If you have something I need to get to immediately, just toss in like whatever the cheapest super chat is, and I'll see it pop up here. Otherwise, I'll get they're all very small letters, so I'll get lost in the chat and forget where I'm at. Okay, so he says that the village, it's been severely impacted after this attack, and they end up wandering for about a month and a half, which is wild in and of itself, but it's just kind of another line in his story. We ended up wandering for about a month and a half. Or Artemio Moreno, level 1 membership. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. So I don't know where this lake in the desert is, but he says they end up going there and then sending out runners to all the Apache bands in the area, saying, "Come meet us at the lake. We need to have a talk." And thousands of them come. He says all the bands from Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, West Texas, like they all show up. And they had this big meeting with, let me make sure I got all the names here. It is, all the chiefs present are Victorio, Geronimo, Red Wasp, all very Seminole, not the tribe Seminole, but Seminole with an AL. Major chiefs in the history of the Apache. They all make it out to this meeting, and they start talking about how to deal with the Comanche. Like, are we going to go on a full-scale war? We have thousands of guys here now. Who's in favor of going to war? We want to go take it to them. We're tired of them pushing us around, basically. Red Wasp argues vehemently that the Comanche can be handled, the Comanche can be taken out. Victorio argues for peace and says, like, listen, I've been around, right? And I am telling you, there are more Americans coming in to settle, more American settlers coming in than there are blades of grass. There are so many of them that we as the tribes need to band together, or we'll have no chance of stopping them. And he's convincing enough where even this crowd of angry warriors eventually acquiesces and listens. So they head out to West Texas and meet up with the Comanche. Let me make sure I don't have the exact, he just talks about this generally. But there's this big council head, lots of long speeches given. Everyone eventually ends up listening to Victorio. They go out. Oh, there's one part I forgot, guys. After the battle with the Comanche, there were several prisoners taken. Most of them didn't make it, but one guy did survive his wounds. And when the Apache village moved out, when they started heading out towards the plains, I can't believe I forget this. They were trying to extract information from this guy about where the Comanche were, and he wouldn't give anything to him. So Carnoviste ran these like rawhide ropes through his arms right here, and then like tied him like this to a mesquite or oak tree, and just left him to the elements, right? Pretty messed up. And this old Apache woman who had this removed, I can't even say it, but she had this removed for being unfaithful in her marriage, which was a relatively common punishment if that happened. Snuck back at night, felt bad for the guy, and then cut him down. Well, this guy takes off and runs back to the Comanche camp and tells them about the Apache heading northwest and like this whole big meeting they're going to have. So the Comanche coalesce in West Texas as well. Finally, there's a big meeting, and they have this kind of nervous few moments where the Apaches say, I'm paraphrasing, right? But the Apaches say, listen, listen, we want to work things out. We need to band together against the American settlers coming in. And the Comanche don't really believe them at first, but they propose a hostage trade-off. And so that takes place for an afternoon, and more trust is built. And then eventually a truce is agreed upon. And this is, like I said, probably early 1870s, but it's a big shift in the, I guess, geopolitics of the Southwest, especially West Texas to the Southwest at the time. And ostensibly from there, it was pretty much copacetic between the two tribes. And the big focus was resisting the American government. So you'll see this coalesce in Palo Duro. You'll see this uh, culminate in Palo Duro, and you'll see this culminate in the Southwest with Geronimo. Um, so this kind of focused the two tribes' resistance to not be against each other, their animus to not be against each other, but to be directed towards the U.S. government. And it's also an example of how fast loyalties could change and how pragmatic tribes could be. If if need be, if survival depended on it, there were many instances where truces were called. This is one of them. I think people can kind of misunderstand the relationship between the Comanche and the Apache at times, where it was often very volatile, but there were periods of peace. And this is kind of the final act in that contentious play that really Herman got to be part of, for better or worse. I thought that was just a really interesting firsthand account of thousands of Apaches meeting. It would be something akin to, oh, thousands of Americans meeting, and then maybe the president and secretary of war or something giving conflicting speeches and a vote being taken there. So a very, very interesting firsthand account of a large event, a seminal event in the political history of both the Comanche and the Apache that we may not have ever known of were there not an account from Herman Lehmann. So yeah, just two very cool chapters. I thought a great add-on to what we covered this morning. And as much loyalty as Herman has built up now, in a couple years, he's going to take off from the Apache and join the Comanche, which I think is an even more interesting part of the story. But we'll cover that in another live stream, maybe tomorrow or later on in the week. But that's pretty much the gist of the story there. So now, and like I said, I will post a link to purchase. Highly recommend this book. It was like it's like $5-6 on paperback and 99 cents on Kindle. So highly recommend it. Very, excuse me, very short chapters too. So easy to read. Don't read it to kids. Okay. It's not a kid friendly book. But other than that, it's an easy read. Yeah. Any questions on anything? Hit me with them in the chat. If you have any topic suggestions, any questions on episodes coming out. We just posted the Comanche episode, Little Known Battles of the Comanche. I think you guys will like that. And that is out for members now, and it will be out for the public tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot of chats in here, so let me see. Where did I leave off here? That's pretty vicious, says Terry. Yeah, it was. I think the worst part of it is either poor little Bobo or the guy that Herman was forced to unalive. That was summed up pretty quickly, but a really traumatic story for him. Did he ever fight the Apache as a Comanche? I think by then they had a truce. Let's see. Not in, says Pet Detectives. Oh, Pet Detectives we covered that, right? Oh, it's probably in chronological order with the $10 super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Pet Detective says this is a new show, so hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. $5 super chat from Pet Detectives also. So thank you very much. That's to tell everybody to hit the like button. Pet Detectives is an OG. Thank you very much. I mean, Comanche would win in a full-scale war. I don't disagree, but we talked about this morning. It would depend on the terrain, because the Apache were generally a little better in mountainous terrain because they were forced to have experience in it, where the Comanche were dependent on their cavalry skills, and that's dependent on a wide open plain. Were the Comanche more brutal raiders, would you say? I used to think so, but now I don't think so. I think the Apache, it depends kind of I guess what you mean by that. I think the Comanche were more I could get this is a contentious thing, but the Comanche were, I think, a larger, more prolific war machine, but the Apache were better at the T word that I don't know, it rhymes with orchard. They had some pretty intricate orchard methods. The book is also available on Audible, says Julie Nelson with a $5 super chat. Wow, thank you guys for giving me super chats to help the audience out. Adam Cox with a $10 super chat. When is your book coming out? Hard copy. The goal is to get it out somewhere between January and February. Probably it might be. I don't know. It takes me. I'm having to put everything together, but very early 2026 because it's got. You guys see the problem with the terms of service here. Like I can't say any of these words. It's so hard to tell these stories, and I can't even really put the worst or best stories, depending on how you look at it, uh, on this platform. So I thought a book would be the best way to do it. If you had to pick the strongest tribe in each part of the country, like Southwest, North, Pacific Northwest, East, that's a good question. I would have to think about that. That's a great question, though. I'm going to screenshot that and think about that. I will get back to you. I don't want to give an answer that I regret because that's such a good question. I want to like really think it out. Like I would say, yeah, let me break that down. I bet you I can give you a really good answer. I'll think about that and get back to you on the next stream. Did Geronimo or Cochise ever fight Quanah Parker in a battle? As don't think there's any evidence of that happening. That's what you're saying. I don't think there's any evidence of that happening. Not that I know of. I know Geronimo was a dinner guest at Star House, which is Quanah Parker's house up near Lawton, Oklahoma. He had a big, expansive house on a plot of land, and he had Geronimo, Teddy Roosevelt, several of his old Comanche friends would come over for dinner. Not at once, but strongest first impression is the Haida. If you mean for powerful tribe in the Northwest, yeah, I think I would probably, that's who I was initially thinking. A wide open plain. I've read old accounts where the Spanish called the horses that were nimble in cactus los napaleros. That's funny. Los napaleros. Did Geronimo or Cochise? Okay, we got that one. Let's see. Comanche and the Apache. Terry R says Comanche and the Apache allied their forces. They must have seen the common enemy's strength. Yeah, I think it was that, and just not wanting to keep unaliving each other as settlements got closer and closer and closer. Because if that happened, we're guessing this happened somewhere in the early 1870s, possibly mid 1870s. Well, it's 1877, I believe, when Adobe Walls happened. So we're just really wrapping up the conflict with the U.S. Army on the southern plains for the Comanche. So they have enough problems on their plate. Let's see. Question. Short Stories by Kate says, question. Oh, I think that's directed toward Artemio. Did Colonel Viste adopt Herman when he was still an Apache? Yeah, basically, he was a kind of de facto adopted son. But he was really hard on him, and just Herman wasn't having a great time. So, and he didn't leave to go join the Comanche. He just left and started bailing. And then he came upon a Comanche group. And what's really interesting is when he did a lot of raiding in and around Mason County, and he would go by his old house. He could see his family in the house. He could see his old neighbors, and he just would then go back to the Comanche camp. So that's a fascinating psychological juxtaposition, I guess you could call it. Let's see. Mr. Skeleton says Comanche are pure. I don't even know if I could say that. Comanche are not my favorite people, says Mr. Skeleton, and I'm Apache. Yeah, it seems that there's still a fair amount of animus there between the two peoples. And I've seen that with a lot of intertribal battle videos that I've done, which I did not intend at all. I guess I maybe should have seen coming, but a lot of the tribes that are involved in these conflicts still have a deep running enmity for each other. And I will see that in the comments sometimes. Let's see. Watch the movie Prey. Has Comanche fighting a predator. Yeah, I've been meaning to watch Prey. I've heard it has a pretty decent depiction of the Comanche when they were living in the Northern Rockies. Love the live chats. Keep up the great work. Rainy Travels says, thank you so much. Glad you're here. Thanks for making it. These are really fun. Yeah, I love doing these. They let us go into way more detail that I've been racking my brain for years trying to figure out how to share these details. So these live chats work out well. Let's see. Artemio Moreno says, but didn't Herman leave after he? Oh, that's right. I haven't read the full book in a couple of years, so I'm rereading it now as we go and sharing it with y'all. That's right. He I believe got into a conflict over maybe an accusation of stealing, and then the medicine man kept accusing him and kept trying to fight him, and he gets into a fight with the medicine man and eventually ends up unaliving him either with an arrow or something in that vein. He unalives him though, gets in a lot of trouble, and basically has to skip town. But he didn't skip town to go join the Comanche. That was happenstance. Thanks for that though, Artemio Hall. I have read it, but it's been, like I said, probably 3 years. So I'm just kind of working my way through it now, and I haven't gotten to that part yet. In Comanche, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying the word Comanche now. In Montana, the Crow are universally most loathed of regional tribes. I can't speak to that yes or no, but I've seen a lot of conflict in the comments between the Crow and other tribes, certainly. Which, as a history fan, it's fascinating to see. I know you said 4 hours north of Austin. Any specifics on location? Close to anything? I wasn't able to find it in the book, and I really looked for that. Let me give it one more look here. Buffalo. Yeah, I was looking. No, I don't see anything. A lot of times he will give us a fort or some kind of nearby town or settlement. He'll give us something like Fort Concho. There's stuff that happens around Fort Concho, and he'll mention Fort Concho or Mason, Texas, or any of the surrounding towns. He's pretty diligent about at least giving us some kind of idea geographically where he's at. But here he just says Central Texas. And then you kind of have to decipher that it's somewhere with rolling hills, because he talks about, well, the Mexican man we first apprehended we couldn't see the camp over the hills. So it's somewhere with relatively steep rolling hills. If the Apache and the Comanche were allies, then it would be over for the soldiers in Mexico and the States, says Thomas Cloak. They might have been able to hold them off for a while longer, but I think both tribes had been so devastated by disease that they just didn't have the numbers. Now, maybe you wouldn't have been able to find them deep in Palo Duro Canyon or in the mountains of northern Mexico, but I think it may have just bought them a couple years, just because of the toll that infectious diseases had taken. Maybe by Quanah, Texas, says Freddie. Honestly, maybe, I mean, south of there, but somewhere between Austin, Texas, and Quanah, Texas, we could say that. Let's see. In my opinion, the four most powerful, menacing tribes, says Mr. Skeleton, are the Comanche, Cheyenne, Apache, and Crow. Can we toss the Arapaho in with the Cheyenne on that, Mr. Skeleton? Why is there a purple symbol with a number next to my name? I think that's the order in which you came into the chat. I've been kind of wondering that myself. Means you're the number 3 top fan. You have 75 XP. Our number 1 top fan is Adam Cox this evening. Our number 2 top fan is Julie Nelson with 250 XP. Then we've got Stephen Miller at number 4 and Thomas Cloak at number 5. Short Stories by Kate coming in at number 6. So you're just out of the top 5 Short Stories by Kate. Is there a way I can share a picture, says Julie Nelson. You might, I think you can email it to me. I know that, and then I can screen share it. If you email it to me at historyattheokcorral@gmail.com, I'll check it right now, and then I can upload it, as long as it abides by terms of service rules. Did the Crow even have allies? They did, and they had a really powerful ally. Eventually, the U.S. Army. They were willing to be scouts and uh, reconnoiter areas for the army. Let's see. Several Crow scouts served at the Battle of Little Bighorn. In my opinion, the four most powerful got that. Okay, Mr. Sweeney, my official rapper name is MCT. That's a good rapper name. Did the Crow have allies? Okay, got that. The Crow were scouts, says Happy Cappy. Yeah, there was a lot of Crow scouts. And without them, same for the Tonkawa, without them, the army would have likely never found the tribes they were going after, be it the Lakota or the Comanche, Kiowa, etc. Weren't the Shoshone scouts too for the army? Yes, for a period of time, but then they also had a very they were involved at they were the targets at the Bear River massacre. So I don't know the exact time, but they did work with them, and then they were a target of the U.S. Army. Same with the Lakota. The Lakota had initially worked with the U.S. government, uh, I think against I forget who, maybe against the Pawnee, and then eventually became uh, ardent enemies of the U.S. government. Let's see. What language do the Crows speak? That's a good question. I'm not sure. I believe they have their own dialect. Did they serve as scouts more for the work or to hurt the other tribe? Both. Kind of maybe 50-50. Actually, maybe 60-40. They really wanted to drive out the other tribes. Was it Crow that fought with Andrew Jackson in Alabama? Not Crow. That'd be too far south. Maybe Shawnee? I'd have to look. Tonkawa were Annibals, weren't they? Yes. Possibly Karankawa, too. I've always tried to figure out what tribe John Redcorn from King of the Hill is from, and my guess is the Karankawa because they're noted to be tall. Let's see. Just my own little side note there. Working my way through the chats here. Anybody else have any other questions on the stories from tonight? The stories this morning, the upcoming Comanche episode, which if you are a member, you're getting already. And let's see. I just got the word from the merchant, 2 weeks, and then we'll have the cups and the shirts in and a hat design. What about the Nez purse? I'd have to go research more on the Nez purse. Beyond like Chief Joseph, I don't know a ton. And that is a really fascinating story. Does anyone claim to be a Tonkawa now? I'm sure. I haven't looked into the current state of the Tonkawa tribe, though. What tribes hated the Sioux? The Pawnee for sure. The Crow. Those are the two biggest I can think of. But really, the Dances with Wolves movie kind of reverses the role of the Lakota and the Pawnee and shows the Pawnee as the attacking tribe and the Lakota as the victims in a way. And really, it was the opposite, where the Lakota were kind of on an extermination campaign against the Pawnee in many ways. Julie Nelson says, I just emailed you. Let's see here. I can try and share the pictures. Oh, cool. Okay. Are these from a trip you took? Are these your pictures? Let me bring them up and I'll screen share them. So Julie Nelson just sent me these cool pictures. I'm going to share them so everybody can see. Yeah, let me know if you took them yourself. These look like pictures you took yourself. So first is Herman Lehmann's grave. And that is in Mason, Texas, I believe. So born 1859. He was 11 years old when he was taken. Didn't pass away till February 2nd, 1932. So he would have seen Babe Ruth play. He saw World War I. He saw aviation and telephones. I believe, TV, movies. Let's see. John Redcorn was on a sod. What? Was he really? Are you sure? I'm not saying you're wrong. I just never heard that before. But I thought he was from a Texas tribe. There are so many native languages. Did any of them overlap across the century? My linguistic language is limited. I know that's a way they kind of track tribal lineage, is they'll have Athabascan or Algonquin uh, language roots. So that kind of points to where a tribe's initial homelands or roots may have been. Julie Nelson says, yes, they are from pictures I took. Oh, very cool. And then there's another one of the Herman Lehmann historical marker. I think it says this is where they were taken. So let's show you this one here too. Thank you very much, Julie Nelson, for the personal history pictures. Let's take a look at this one. This is the uh, the Texas history marker. Texas does a good job of their history markers. Herman and Willie Lehman, immigrants. Wow. That's fascinating. That's great. I'd like to go see those myself. Alice Cooper would love this channel. That's a big compliment. Hopefully we can get him to watch sometime. Thomas Cloak, didn't the Arikara fight the Sioux? Oh, good call. Yeah, the Arikara did. There was an episode where he claims it. Does he claim being Anasazi? I thought he was always vague about, we're talking about John Redcorn. Yeah, that's the episode I was thinking where Bobby does the school assignment about his tribe, but I thought they never mentioned the exact tribe he was from, but I could be wrong on that. Julie Nelson says these are from Happy Valley, just outside of Mason, Texas. It's a hard place to find. Well, I have to go check that out. That's really cool. Damn, that's so cool, says Z Brooks. That is really cool, right? Let's see. John Redcorn is supposed to be from the intermittent. Is he really? I thought he was from a Texas tribe, but y'all are saying he's from a Puebloan tribe. I learn something every day. Let's see. Freddie V says, thanks, Julie. Yeah, thank you very much, Julie Nelson. Thank you. Those are the first personal history picks we've gotten. Let's see. Were the Cherokee our greatest allies out of all the tribes, you think? Probably. Just off the top of my head, I would say yes. Let's see. R.I.P. Redcorn. Yeah, seriously, dude. What a tragedy. Didn't the Arikara? Okay, we got that. Ute Aztecan is the similarities between native languages. These in the Southwest, I think largely because in like the Northeast, it would be Algonquin, and I think the Northwest is Athabascan. The voice actor for John Redcorn was on a lot. Yeah, I know. This happened in San Antonio, man. He was under the influence. Yes, very tragic story. I had a friend who went to the debut of the new King of the Hill series and met the voice actor. I'm blanking on his name, unfortunately. I think the day before, like 24 hours before he lost his life. Really tragic. Let's see. And who was more martially superior, the Comanche or the Seminole? Man, I guess the popular answer, I guess I would say the Comanche, but people underestimate the Seminole. The Seminole were bad to the bone. And then we got the Seminole scouts from this kind of, opportune mix of cultures in the Southeast, who they were bad. Like you see black and white pictures and you kind of just don't think of it. They're grainy pictures. It's hard to really understand. But Pompey Factor, Sergeant Barnes, who else am I thinking of? But the 3 Buffalo soldiers who got the Medals of Honor are just those are bad dudes. All the Seminole scouts were just, like I said, bad to the bone. Yeah, but Sharky, who's the superior overall tribal military force? I'd say the Comanche. How tough you got to be living in the swamp? Super tough. Super tough. Were Navajo Apache allies or enemies? Generally enemies. He was under the influence of a lot more than, probably. Probably, unfortunately. That's the word I've heard. Let's see. Most of it had to be cool. Most have been cool to live with. Oh, it must have been cool to live with 2 of the most powerful tribes in history. Probably cool eventually. I don't think he had a great time with the Apache. It kind of culminated with the Medicine Man incident that, was it Artemio you were pointing to? I lose track. So there's a lot of chats coming in. But I think eventually he did love living with the Comanche. He did not, ardently did not want to come back. Okay, I'm late to the party on this, says Terry R. John Redcorn from King of the Hill. Yeah, they just had a King of the Hill reboot come out, and it debuted in Austin, and a friend of mine went, and she met the guy who plays him, whose name I'm shamefully blanking on right now. And then 24 hours later, we saw on the news that well, not we, but the community of Austin saw on the news that he had passed away. And yes, it was unfortunate circumstances. Nick Sweeney says, yes, Terry R, pay attention. He's doing his best. He's doing his best, Nick Sweeney. I think he said he was doing chores. Let's see. The voice. Okay. Got that. I think I'm close to caught up here. Happened in San Antonio, says Julie Nelson. Yes, it did. Yeah. It was shocking to everyone because the debut of the new series had just happened and it was really popular. It really was a hit at the Paramount Theater here. Let's see. But yeah, any other King of the Hill comments or episode questions? Questions on the book, questions on upcoming episodes. Says Terry R. Tragic. Yeah, it's a real tragedy. Just Luann, Lucky, John Redcorn are no longer with us, so that really affects the series too. Well, did they make Herman ever go back to his people? If you mean go back to American society, yeah, basically forced him back, and he did not. He eventually adjusted. There's pictures of him wearing a suit, and there's pictures of him wearing a suit with a headdress. So, he got along much better than Adolf Korn did, but Herman always, I think, had an edge to him. They wouldn't let him into the premiere because he was hostile towards everyone. Really? Yeah. My friend and her husband had gone, and they met him outside. So I didn't think about that. Okay. They said he was nice, so maybe that was a little bit before. You'll stick up for everyone but me. You're against me, says Nick Sweeney. No, no, no. I'm just an impartial referee. I'm just an impartial referee, said Nick Sweeney. Let's see. When are we going to get an episode on Wild West conspiracies? Well, I did one that was, I forget. That was one of the first ones I did, but we can do another one. Those are probably my favorites to do. I was looking for real life cowboy and alien stories today, but there's just not a ton. There's a little bit, but not a ton. I'm actually half Apache, half German. Anyone else mix? Are you really? So you can really empathize with Herman Lehmann. Wendigo. Yeah, we talked about the Wendigo a little earlier, but I could do a whole stream on them. Like we just kind of touched on the topic. Oh, we found Mr. Sweeney's underbelly. Well, everyone gets a little frustrated here and then. Sigh, nobody ever likes me. Oh, that's not the attitude, Nick Sweeney. We all like you. You're a loved and respected part of this community. We just got to give you a hard time every once in a while. So you have thought about setting up a Discord? Oh, yeah. You know what? Let me make a note for that. I have thought about that, and I just haven't done it. For the community, it'd be a good way to talk back and forth and post pictures, and it's free. Yep. No, that's absolutely a good reminder for me, Plowboy. Thanks, man. I ran out of space on this notebook. All right. Discord, cool. Yeah, absolutely. I'll try and set that up by tomorrow. Thank you for that. We were talking about that probably 2 weeks ago, and I just plumb forgot. Elite Super Grunt says, Elite Super Grunt, are you Apache, Arapaho, and Spanish? Is that what you're saying? I don't know, man. It sounds like a pretty cool mix, to be honest with you. Skinwalkers, whole part of Navajo culture. We have done a Skinwalkers live stream, and I pointed out the difference between the Skinwalker and the Wendigo and its role in Navajo culture and how it's specific to the Navajo people. Super creepy, man. Super creepy. I'm not calling on the Skinwalker anytime soon. It's cool we get to go live the same time as it's cool we get to live at the same time as Mike Judge, says Freddie. Yeah, it is. Hey, man. Beavis and Butthead, Idiocracy, King of the Hill. There's a series he put out for a while called The Good Family, which is kind of the antithesis of King of the Hill. It's like the very California liberal family, but just as funny. I thought it was super underrated. Terry R is against me, says Nick Sweeney. This stinks like conspiracy. Don't make me put my tinfoil hat back on. Well, you know, I'm not saying we're part of the Illuminati, but I'm not saying we're not. Shark says my ex is a skinwalker. Well, you better watch out, dog. You better watch out. My great grandma was full blood Arapaho. Dude, Elite Super Grunt says that. The Arapaho are one of the most fascinating tribes to me. Super, super cool tribe. So that's a good part of the bloodline right there. I like you, Nick. We're all family here. Yeah, absolutely. Can you please tell us stories of how the Native Americans changed their names to Americanized names? I don't really know about that, but I will write it down and look into it. Native name changes. Let's see. Kiowa weren't a massive tribe, but apparently they were a dangerous tribe solely because they allied with the Comanche. I mean, I don't even think solely because of that. I think because they're a fantastic horsemen and elite level cavalry and just a warrior culture to the bone. They put up a good fight against the Comanche for a while, and then they ended up forming an alliance. But they just weren't big enough. Yeah, you're right. They were just so small. Probably I think about a third the size of the Comanche, who are already themselves a small tribe. So, but I think the Kiowa too, super fascinating. I like really small tribes. The Kiowa are very small. The Arapaho are very small, but they both have really cool tribal traditions and really cool swag. I don't know. They have super cool swag, both tribes. A movie recommendation is 310 to Yuma. Oh, dude, 310 to Yuma is a masterpiece. 310 to Yuma. I already have that on the movie list, but I'm writing it down just to remind me. I have a big, long Google Doc of movies that are free on YouTube. I don't believe they had a choice about changing their names. It was forced on them to do it. That's generally my understanding, Plowboy. What interactions does Sam Houston have with the Comanche? I don't, not a super ton, but enough to, I mean, he did have interactions with them. I would have to go revisit that to give you a good answer because now right now all I can say is some and they weren't horrible, but that's not very informative. I mean, there wasn't there a Kiowa Apache band? Yeah, but that was a bit of a misnomer, I believe. They were an Apache band that was on the plains and were a buffalo hunting band, but they weren't actually part of the Kiowa tribe. Let's see. Sam Houston lived with the Cherokee for 3 years. Right. Yeah. I mean, he was familiar with native cultures, but I can't go into detail off the top of my head on his involvement with the Comanche. His successor, I believe, in Mirabeau Beaumont Lamar was wildly against the tribes. He wanted a war of extermination. And it was so popular enough that he got elected governor of Texas. Still wasn't universally popular. So even some people back in the day were like, "Oh, that's a little much, man." But Mirabeau Beaumont Lamar wanted all the tribes gone. And I've always thought that was funny that they were tearing down all these statues, right? Name your Civil War general or objectionable character. And I'm not even speaking on that issue, right? Just the fact that it happened. And then the whole time, especially in the last, oh, what was that? That was really big 6, 7 years ago. During that whole time, no one said a word about Lamar Avenue in Austin. And I was just like, this particular guy, you're not missing the mark saying this guy is a little crazy because this guy really was all about exterminating the tribe. So it wasn't like, oh, he was kind of racist or he was kind of a jerk. It's like, no, this one particular guy, he wanted them all gone. So like, should you maybe rename the avenue? But people don't know that, so that never really came up. But they wanted to get rid of all the other statues, and nobody ever talked about that. I thought that was fascinating. How far north did the Apache get? I believe up to Utah, southern Utah. I find it, and that's not very many Apache. That's just the uppermost reaches of where they would go. I believe. No, the Navajo would get up to Utah. I would guess. No, we could say very southern Utah. How far north did the Apache? Okay, got that. I find it really cool listening to your streams and the different stories, etc. Really interesting, says Thomas Cloak. Thank you very much. Try to make the streams as informative and entertaining as we can. Let's see. I think we're caught up on the chat. So cool. We're rolling along here. Any other questions, comments you guys want to throw in here? We're coming up on an hour, so we'll start kind of wrapping it up. And don't forget, yeah, same schedule for tomorrow. So we'll have a uh, coffee time chat at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Then we have the episode release, right? Tomorrow it's going live at 8 p.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific. So that poses the question of whether y'all would like to do a late night stream. It won't be super late, but we'd have to do like 2 hours later. So would y'all be up for, let me post a poll here. Seemed like everybody liked last late night stream, but you don't want to be presumptuous. So I'm going to end this poll. We're going to start a new poll. And if you can't make it, then that's totally fine. Just let me know. Do you want a late night stream tomorrow? Let me know in the poll. I'm gonna quit work so I can be on the time for the morning streams. Don't do that. Not the way things are right now. You can just listen and then just hit us up in the chat whenever you can, man. But don't quit your job. Don't quit your job. Mescalero and Chiricahua, most talked about bands of the Apache. Do you agree? Yes. Actually, yes, I do. If nobody tells them about Lamar, they'll never know. Right. Yeah. I used to bring that up. Like I would hear people talking about how awesome it was they're tearing down the statues, and then I would be like, yeah, they should rename Lamar Boulevard, and they would just kind of stare at me. Let's see, pop in the early buds and hide the phone. Oh, pop in the earbuds and hide the phone. Good call. Whatever doesn't get you fired, though. Victoria was a Mescalero, yes. Let's see. Which three? Oh, Stephen Miller says, which 310 to Yuma? There were two of them. Yeah, wasn't there an old Western 310 to Yuma? I thought it was a complete original for years, and then I found out there was another 310 to Yuma. Let's see. You know what? Like now my side is the chat is being a little choppy. Is the stream still good for y'all? Yeah, just when I started seeing the chat get choppy itself. Okay, cool. Back for everybody can hear me, see me. Cool. Stream's fine. Yeah, I got choppy on my end, so we'll work on it some more. I saw an interesting question here. Was Geronimo Chiricahua? I'm not an authority on that. I believe he was, though. I think he was. Wasn't the Lipan Apache also talked about? Yes, that's another. I don't even know if they're fully connected to the Apache. They're another smaller Southern Plains tribe. And I did an episode on the Rangers had an engagement with the Lipan Apache. Oh, maybe 1860s. That was I thought, an interesting story. The Rangers pack mule got away, and it was the only casualty of the fight. But it was like a really beloved pack mule, so it was a really sad story. Nick Sweeney says, early buds. Nick Sweeney, sir. You can't give up on the day before it's already started. I could see Nick Sweeney sitting on his back porch and listening to Sublime at 7 in the morning. Original is best got Ford in it. Like Henry Ford? Not Henry Ford. No, not Henry Ford. John Ford, you mean? The original that had John Ford in it? Wasn't it the Lipan that got completely driven out by the Comanche, or was it another band? I don't think they were completely exterminated, but they were driven to the far south. Yes, my mouth connection is not working right. The far southwest regions of the plains. Glenn Ford. Let's check out the original one. Let me see what's available on YouTube too. Original. Let's see. Elite Super Grunt says Geronimo was Chiricahua. Cool. Backing me up on that. Thanks, man. And then Elite Super Grunt, you had an interesting question. What is the difference between Comanche and Comanchero? The Comanche is, obviously they're the tribe, And the Comancheros are a whole band of kind of autonomous merchant people in the north of New Mexico who had there were they have Spanish descendant roots, right? They had worked out this always kind of tenuous trade deal with the Comanche, where they were kind of interlopers from Mexico to the Comanches, or from European powers to the Comanches, where they could get the Comanches weapons, blankets, foodstuffs, cooking, cookware, all kinds of stuff that they would trade to the Comanche for buffalo hides, usually buffalo hides, or any other goods the Comanche would have to trade. But they were, yeah, like kind of trade interlopers because nobody else was going out. Oh, my light went up. Nobody else was going out on the plains. They were not going to deal with the Comanches. Way, way, way too dangerous. But over the decades, the Comancheros had kind of worked out this always tenuous, always tense deal. But that's why they were the ones that witness Jed Smith passing away or being unalived, because they were really the only ones out there. Did Victoria was unalived in battle? I thought Victoria went to the reservations. Let's see. Cochise and Geronimo were both Chiricahua. Okay, I thought. Chief, was Cochise not Mescalero? I'll look into that. Sometimes the intricacies, the minutia of Apaches, I'm not terribly well read on yet. And I don't want to say something that makes me look stupid. Wouldn't that be a shame if I ever did that? Goblin Town Comancheros were mostly Goblin Town Comancheros. Mestizo looking more native. Yeah, that's a good point. They're not, I should clarify that. We're not talking about Spanish people who are the Comancheros. We're not talking about necessarily Mexican citizens who are Comancheros. They're kind of an isolated population with Spanish roots and native roots who would be known as mestizos today, or a mestizo population. Largely, like they maybe like a 70-30 mix, but we're not talking solely Spanish descendants who carved out this niche on the northern plains or southern plains. Victoria was a Membrano Apache and was born in Chihuahua. Okay. If you know a lot about it, Artemio Moore I thought that he had passed away on the reservation, but I need to, there's only so much time in the day. So I've become kind of a Comanche specialist for the time being, but I'm delving more and more into Victorio's story and Mangus Coloratus and Cuchillo Negro, Geronimo. AI is saying something about Geronimo being a Bendonkoho Apache. That could be, man. AI is like 50-50 with the history info, though. Elite Super Grunt says, I am mestizo. I have a lot of friends that are. What band was Mangus? Membrano, right? We'll double check that. Because if I start guessing bands, I'm going to look like a real idiot. Mangus Colorado was, if you don't know Mangus Colorado, we mentioned him briefly in the, I feel like we covered him at least satisfactorily in the Apache Pass episode. Well, he was a big dude. He was a big giant man. I think he was over 6 feet tall and 200 plus pounds, but that makes you a big giant guy. What band? Okay, we got that. He was unalived by Mexican soldiers during the Battle of Tres Castillos. Okay, well, there we go. That's why I didn't want to say, for sure he was on the reservation. Victoria was unalived by Mexican soldiers during the Battle of Tres Castillos. You know what? That might be something we can make into an episode. Tres Castillos. Cool. That's right up our alley for an episode topic. Same, I'm proud mestizo. Right on, man. Glad to have you guys here. Fascinating history, fascinating culture. I'm mostly Irish, some German, mostly Irish. And, the Irish are good people, but, sometimes Mangus was also a Membrano. Cool. Actually, I'm going to write Membrano down because, this is great, guys. We can make an episode out of this stuff. Let's see here. I'm just making sure I'm all caught up. Terry R says Comancheros, the bootleggers of their time. Kind of. Kind of, yeah, and they would sell booze too. Um, all right, guys, I think that I'm caught up now. Artemio Moore says he was unalived unjustly, kind of like a crazy horse situation. That's another thing I'd like to do a stream on. It's hard to do a crazy horse versus his captors episode or something, but it'd make a good live stream. The mystery and the injustice behind crazy horses unaliving. So pardon my ignorance, but what is a mestizo? That's someone, guys, correct me a little bit if I'm off totally on this, but a mixed race individual of Spanish descent and native descent. Um, yes, Thomas, it did. Mangus apparently was really tall for an Apache. Yeah, I've read accounts from. It's tough because they don't have exact measurements, but it seems like well over 6 feet tall, which is super big. I have some Irish and French on my European side, but it's mostly Spanish. That'll work. That's a good mix. That's a good mix. Yes, Spanish and native mix says Elite Super Grunt. Yeah, that's a mestizo. But cool. Yeah, I got this Tres Castillos as a note for an episode topic. Wasn't Red Cloud like six? Oh, good point. That's a good. I forgot about that. Artemio Moore says, wasn't Red Cloud like 6'6"? Now, I don't know that he was 6'6", but he was tall, notoriously tall. And I believe Roman Nose was also very tall. I just saw a picture of him. Quana was pretty tall. I mean, the Comanche aren't super tall, so he looks taller than his compatriots, but I would say he might be pressing 6 foot. Good movie about Crazy Horse and his Woman Walks Ahead. Oh, I remember that movie. I haven't seen that in forever. Woman Walks Ahead. Woman Walks Ahead. I've seen that before, but it's been a while. Do we know exactly where Iron Jacket got his armor? We do not know exactly. My hunch would be either from the Comancheros or maybe it was passed down from a battle with the Spanish at some point. Either would be a feasible explanation. And I've read accounts that Iron Jacket is the father of Pedonacona, who is the father of Quanah Parker. So Iron Jacket would possibly be Quanah Parker's grandfather. Let's see. I got a list started too, and you've got a movie list started. Finding one of Pershing's expeditionary Liberty trucks in the brush in the valley. You found one of Pershing's expeditionary Liberty trucks. Is that what you're saying? Engineer? Let's see. The things you think you'd never forget. Was Crazy Horse over 6 feet? No, I believe Crazy Horse was, to my understanding, not super tall. And there's some suspicion as to whether he was mixed race himself. He was known as Curly, and he's supposed to have had lighter colored hair. Wasn't Washaki also tall, over 6 feet? Yeah, that's true. That's true. I believe he was very tall. And I think you could see in pictures that's a big guy. The things you never thought you would learn. Yeah, really. That's every day here. I'm trying to think of who else was relatively tall. Um, no one that I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe Chief Joseph. The Cherokee were tall people. I believe the Cheyenne were as well. Maybe the Blackfoot. And like we talked about before, I think maybe because the Cheyenne, Blackfoot, Lakota as well, became the kind of prototype for Americans back east's understanding of what native tribes on the plains looked like. So when they had that image in mind and they started seeing the Comanche, there's lots of like not very nice newspaper accounts from the time describing the Comanche as short and stout and stumpy even, and kind of wondering how this people is running rampant over all of Texas. How were they not able to defeat this? You know, they would call them bow-legged and squat people, and it's like, it's a good question, man. Why can't you defeat them? Because right now they're kind of whooping your ass. Uh, no, Washaki was Shoshone Artemum. Yeah, Washaki was Shoshone. Did you practice the pronunciation of all these names? Pretty clearly not, right, Terry R? I mess them up quite a bit. But sometimes it's odd that I'll hit a really complex name while I'm reading a script and I'll nail it the first time. And then I might nail it and then I'll have to go back and reread it for some other reason and I don't get that name right for 10 times in a row. Yeah, okay, thank you, Artemio. Chief Joseph was 6'3", I think. I thought Chief Joseph was really tall for some reason. That was hitting a bell inside the memory part of my brain. Um, was Cochise tall? Not that I haven't read that Cochise was tall, more Mangus coloratus. And I do not believe Geronimo was very tall. Northern tribes are tall. Yeah, in general, right? And that's to a certain point. Like the Inuit are not very tall, but the Northern Plains tribes, yes, and in general. I thought you were doing very well with the pronunciations. Thank you very much. It depends on who you ask. Arizona Boy says, I knew some kids from the Uhadam Nation and they were giants, well over 6'6", and I'm 6'4". But wow, you're 6'4", man. And they were taller than me. Wow. I'm 5'11", about maybe 5'10". So I can look 6 foot if I really try, but I'm not. Osage and Comanche were rivals, right? Yeah, but I think that was more Osage and Comanche because the Osage had to come in from the Northeast. So there was conflict with the Comanche, but they had a real enmity with the Kiowa. I did a good episode on that entitled Cutthroat Gap is in Oklahoma. I believe northeastern Oklahoma, I believe, because that's kind of up towards the homelands of the Osage. The Osage are kind of part-time hunter tribe where they would venture out towards the buffalo hunting grounds in the summer and then come back and be semi-itinerant farmers in the fall through spring. Osage were kicked out of Ohio. Yeah, to my understanding, kind of driven south. But they were a more powerful tribe than I think a lot of people give them credit for. Where was Nez Perce located? The Pacific Northwest, from Idaho mostly. California Indians were tall, at least some of the Ohlone people. I did not know that. I thought, and we're trying to speak as charitably and as generally as possible about, you know, whole cultures. So obviously we're talking in generalities, but in my understanding, other than the Shumash, I was not aware of a particularly large California tribe, physically large California tribe, but I don't know of the Ohlone people, so I'll have to look that up. I will write that down, Armenian Bishop. Ohlone. What part of California is that? Let's see, Oregon and Idaho area. Yeah, for the Nez Perce. And like, is Eastern Washington? We could say that fairly, right? Oregon and Idaho area. Yeah, okay, cool. I just tried to send gifties. An error message appeared after the transaction was approved. Oh, like gifted memberships? Really? All right, let me dude, sometimes I think YouTube's been having some problems here. Were you trying to gift memberships, Elite Super Grunt? Which thank you by the way, but I'll try and get to the bottom of why this isn't working. Gift memberships, an error message came up. Error message. I've heard of YouTube having some hiccups lately. Nez Perce never really got talked about. They are not really known, which is a shame. They're a super cool tribe. Super cool tribe. Woodland Prairie Borderlands. Oh, you're talking about the Nez Perce, yeah. Ohlone were in Santa Cruz and San Francisco Bay areas. Oh, very cool. I got them written down. I'm going to look that up. Elite Super Grunt. So it's giving you problems with gifting the memberships, huh? I've got that written down. I'll see if I can get a hold of YouTube. I don't understand membership, hype, or any of these other things. I'm afraid of them and never touch them. Well, don't worry, Nick Sweeney. They won't steal your soul. They're just a way to support the channel. It said the transaction was being approved, and then I got an error message. Well, if anybody else wants to try to gift memberships and see if that happens too, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be terribly surprised, Elite Super Grunt, if that's a YouTube error or YouTube issue. One Freddie V, why did Lamar have such a dislike for tribes? Was he involved in battles against them or incidents that shaped his opinion? Yeah, I think he was party to a lot of frontier incidents. Can't recall off the top of my head, but and he was also seeing the devastation that they were wreaking on the settlements in Texas, where he was vying to become governor of, and then became governor of. So just like any other governor, you're being besought by your constituency, and he's hearing all these terrible stories all the time, and he just didn't have any sympathy left for the Comanche. But what do you mean? What do they do? How do they help your channel? It goes to financially support us. Yeah, this is our whole means of making a living, Nick Sweeney. You got TCB, take care of business, you know. Elite Super Grunt said, "Oh, you sent 5 history at the OK Corral memberships. Thank you so much, Elite Super Grunt." So I guess it ended up working. I'll still run it by YouTube though, just to be safe. Thank you very much, Elite Super Grunt. You're a homie, dude. Thank you. And everybody that's being gifted a membership, I think you'll really enjoy it. I want to start doing members only streams. It seemed like people um, wanted me to hold off on that, but you get early access to episodes. We're going to work out a bunch of other stuff for you guys. So thank you very much. It's going to be worth your while. Most intimidating tribe. Oh, 5 more memberships. Thank you very much, Elite Super Grunt. Dude, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. Guys, we get so many members now. Let me ask again. I feel bad not doing members only chats, but if you guys don't want them, that's totally cool. But let me ask if y'all want members only chats. We don't even have to like adjust the chat schedule we have right now. I can just do them at the end of streams or whatever. Do you want members only chats or live streams? I should say live streams. And we're not talking about all the live streams being members only. I just mean like we'll add in some members only chats. Let's see. Thank you very much, man. That's awesome. Most intimidating tribe sounds cliche of me, but I would say the Comanche for me personally, because I just think my chances of survival would be at the absolute minimum there. Oh, dude, Elite Super Grunt with the $50 super chat, dude. Thank you so much. That is, dude. You're such a homie, dude. Thank you so much. That makes the whole stream doable. That's serious. Like I know it's like trite to say, but that is like I rely on those to do the whole stream. So thank you so much, dude. You're awesome. Just an absolute legend on this channel. Oh, Nick Sweeney, have you ever considered out taking a PO box so people can just send you money the old-fashioned way? Maybe we should. Maybe we should. I'll put that on the list. Dude, you're getting, yeah, everybody else is thanking Elite Super Grunt, and that's well deserved, man. Thank you very much. I like your version better than Russell Crowe's. What does that mean? Let's see. I need to reread. Where did we come in with the Russell Crowe talk? Oh, are y'all not entertained? Oh, I missed the message. Oh, Elite Super Grunt says, are y'all not entertained? If I had a sword to throw into the audience, I would do it. What a great movie. What a great movie. It stood the test of time. Read the super chat. I did read the super chat. Elite Super Grunt, you rock. Are y'all not entertained? That's right. That's what you wanted, right? I agree with you, Elite Super Grunt. Are y'all not entertained? That's probably my favorite part of either that part of the movie or where he fights the guy and they're like letting out tigers and the guy has the mask. It's pretty awesome. Man, thank you so much. That's so cool. But what were we just talking about? Oh, the most intimidating tribe, I would say the Comanche. Oh, dudes. Okay, cool. Also, we have a vote on the members only live streams. Now 62% say yes. Cool, guys. I think that'll be cool. So we'll start doing members only chats too. I wonder we can make the coffee chats members only too. Elite Super Grunt getting all the love in the chat. Well deserved, sir. An absolute legend. Julie Nelson says, very generous Elite Super Grunt. Seriously, he bought 10 memberships and a $50 super chat. What a champ. Terry R calls him ESG. I like that. Man, thank you so much. That is so cool. And I'm just having a blast. So this is great. Let's see. Why did Lamar have? Okay, we got that. Any other questions on what we've been covering? Any other topic suggestions? Stuff you guys want me to look into? Questions on the episode coming up. Let's see. Anything? Do you let me know in the chat? Do you want me to switch the coffee chats to members only? We could do that too. I'll figure it out. We'll add them in. We'll start tomorrow and add one in. Y'all, thank y'all for supporting and watching HOKC. Yeah, thank you, Elite Super Grunt. That's awesome. We have a small elite group of supporters that are making this whole thing run. Because hey man, to be honest, you guys probably see it in the comments. Some people like the live stream, some people absolutely hate them, but I think they are a ton of fun. I like hanging out with y'all, and I like the things that we're able to talk about. So we're gonna keep on doing them. Stephen Miller says, I'm entertained. Good, Stephen Miller. It doesn't take a lot to entertain you, though, which is a good thing. Armenian Bishop says, my memory told me that the Olone were tall, but I couldn't find anything about it just now. I could be wrong. That's all right, man. So I got them written down. I'll look into it myself. I'm getting an education, says Happy Cappy. You are, and I think at least this one is, I don't want to get too controversial, but this one's not sponsored expensive brainwashing. I'd say that. True that, says Stephen Miller. Always glad to see you here, Stephen Miller. Were you here this morning? I thought we missed you. Or no, you were listening on your headphones this morning, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. And yeah, the coffee chats, guys, they are a little more casual, but we still get into some good history. So if you can make it for the coffee chats at noon Eastern time, come on by. I think if you like the nighttime streams, you will like the coffee streams. And also, I've addressed this, but I think some people think we're not doing episodes anymore. It's all live streams. No, the episodes are on the exact same schedule too. So if you're a member, you'll be getting the episode tonight, and it will be out publicly tomorrow. Then we should have another episode on Saturday, and it'll be Friday or Saturday, and then another episode after that. So lots of episodes coming in addition to the chats. Love the live chat. Loving the live chat, says Short Stories by Kate. Me too. Not just for what I'm doing, but for hanging out with y'all. I remember watching you the first time and I got hooked, especially for your Texas Rangers and Comanche video. Thank you, man. That's I got really into that, and I didn't see a lot of those stories being told, but a couple, and I thought, well, I can do that too. My memory told me, okay, we got that. Thank y'all for watching. Elite Engineer says, of course they said yes to the super chat or to the members only live streams. They are members now. Right, but I figured that's an opportune time to ask. It went from we had like 10 members, you guys, and now we're up to I think 60 plus. So that's really, really cool. Now I must go back and try to finish the last mission on Battle Stations Midway. It's been 15 years and I am close to beating the game. I don't even know that game, Elite Super Grunt. Well, go give them hell, man. Go give them hell. The Battle of Midway is a really cool story. Maybe that'd be a good live stream. Well, if you got to go give them hell and you got to leave the stream, we totally understand. Hopefully you can still hang out with us. Let's see. Remind me, please. When are we doing Terry R's movie? That'll be Friday, it looks like. I'll tell you tomorrow, because if we can get the episode out on Friday, then we'll have to move the movie night. I'm trying. We should make movie nights like a consistent Saturday night, though. Go get her, Elite Super 6 or Elite Super G says Short Stories by Kate. Do it for all of us, Elite Super Grunt. Don't yield. Hold on to Midway. But yes, Terry R's movie will be the Comancheros, I believe. Terry R, confirm that for me if you're in the chat. It's written down in my notebook, but I don't want to switch to it now. Coffee Hayes stream, says Z Brooks. We can do another Jack Hayes stream for sure. We've got a bunch of his individual battles that'd be fun to dive deeper on. The Enchanted Rock shootout, the one-man charge at the Frio River, the Battle of Walker's Creek. He got into some mess. This channel got me more into Old West history, says Evan, just Evan. Cool. That's awesome. That's the goal. And we're, we will kind of go off on a tangent here and there. I've got a samurai story. I've got a World War I aviation story. So we'll branch out. It's not just Old West history, but That's our forte. That's our bread and butter. Short Stories by Kate says, me too. Me too, to what? Let's see. Oh, what got you into Old West history? Very cool. Very cool. I think it's I don't know. Also, it seems like it waxes and wanes in the American public consciousness, but it seems like it's more people are getting more interested in it now. It gives people a more holistic understanding of the history of this country, and I think they're just really cool stories. And they're easier for Americans in particular to access because they happened right here. I am listening, but when the action happens, my mind goes numb. For 15 years, I haven't been able to finish the Battle of Midway. I am so close. Well, finish strong, Elite Super Grunt. You got this, dude. You got this. This is 15 years of work all coming to culmination right now. You're like an Olympic athlete. Let's see. I had a look, and apparently, Thomas Cloak says, I had a look, and apparently Victorio ended himself instead of getting captured, according to Apache reports. I thought there was something mysterious about his end. McCulloch Brothers stream. Dude, we can do that. We can definitely do that. I've been to Henry McCulloch's grave several times in Seguin, and there might be a specialist in Seguin who I can talk to about that. McCulloch Bros. Because Henry was a prominent merchant in Seguin, and then Ben McCulloch, who had been both of them had been standout rangers, and Ben McCulloch actually went and served in the Confederate Army and was unalived in a battle whose name escapes me at the moment. He is buried in the State Cemetery on 7th Street in Austin. I see myself more as Sun Tzu. That works. We can go with that. Sun Tzu Super Grunt. How about that? I had a look, and apparently, okay, we got that. Okay, I think we're getting caught up now. We're caught up. Cool. I'm just scanning back through here, make sure I didn't miss anything before. Let's see. I think we're caught up. All right, cool. Oh, I literally have The Art of War by my side, says Elite Super Grunt. All kidding aside, a must read, a fantastic book. Appear weak when you are strong. Keep that in mind, Elite Super Grunt. In the game, in Midway, you must appear weak when you are strong. Julie Nelson, 8230 says, I got to go. Good night, everyone. Thanks, HOKC. Well, thank you for the pictures, Julie Nelson. That was really cool. Always good to see you. Come on back. Come on back for the coffee chat tomorrow. And I think you're a member, so we'll be doing members-only chats. Henry also fought in the Confederates, and Ben was unalived at the Battle of Pea Ridge. Oh, I think I may have kind of made that unclear. I knew that Henry also fought for the Confederate Army. So when he got back from the Civil War, he became a prominent merchant in Seguin. But yes, okay, Ben was unalived at the Battle of Pea Ridge. Very cool. Oh, wow, a $20 super chat from Z Brooks. No message. Wow, do you have anything you want me to say for you, Z Brooks? Thank you so much. Z Books, excuse me. Thank you so much. That is fantastic. Thank you all for all the support tonight. Z Books coming in clutch, man. Thank you. If you have any comment you want to add, just let me know and I'll find it in the chat here. Short Story says, good night, Julie. Elite Super Grunt says, bye, Julie. A beloved member of our chat. We have Bama Deanna. We have Julie. We have, I feel like a couple other women in the chat, but for right now, anyways, guys, it's a boy heavy club. It's a men's club. So it's always good to have some women in here, lighten it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. The channel got me more into Old West. Okay, we got that. We covered that. Thank you all for watching and supporting HOKC, says Elite Super Grunt. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Elite Super Grunt, for watching and supporting HOKC. Happy Cappy, you're a woman. Okay, you never can tell online, right? So we're glad to have you here. You're a part of a small but growing demographic. That's awesome, though. Glad I thought maybe Happy Cappy was a woman, but there's no pictures, it's hard to tell in the chat. Let's see. Oh, Elite Super Grunt says I have The Art of War and the Bible next to me. Well, dude, you're practically unbeatable. Let's see here. Yeah, Z Books, if you end up deciding you have something to say, let me know. I'm I'm scanning through the chat real quick. Okay, I think we're officially caught up. I have a giant stack of comics next to me, says Comic Dog. What's up, Comic Dog? I don't think I've talked to you tonight. Good to see you, man. What do you got? Like DC or Marvel or like the niche stuff? Um Elite Super Grunt says, bros only. Can I pull out some classic mags to share? Wink, wink. I don't know if those will pass YouTube terms of service, Elite Super Grunt. Let's see. Oh my God, says Nick Sweeney. Happy Caps, another stealth female infiltrator. Hey, Nick Sweeney, we don't need to be we don't need to be driving away demographics here. Um, Engineer says, got any freak brothers? I don't know what freak brothers means. I don't have any brothers at all. Let's see here. I got Elite Super Grunt. He's my bro. Everybody in the chat, you guys are my bro. How long we got left on the stream? Nearly 3 a.m. where I'm listening all the way. Oh, you know what? I don't even put a time cap on them. I just see how things are going. We'll go, I don't know, another between 15 and 30 minutes. Does that sound good for everybody? And I mean, Thomas Cloak, these will be up. This is going to be uploaded to the channel. So if you have to split, no problem. You can watch later. I'm probably going to have to take a bathroom break here in a second anyways. Number one, so don't worry. Let's see. Very crafty, Happy Cap. Very crafty. Nick Sweeney, we're going to have you watch some of these pickup artist videos where we learn how to talk to women. Now, to be fair, they're kind of corny. Nick, they don't really work, but we got to start somewhere. Yeah, I'm British, so it's 3 a.m. here. Okay. We've learned the GMT, man. So sorry to drag it on so late for you. But if you need to leave, is not a problem at all. The stream will be up. Otherwise, just hang out, man. I'll wrap it up pretty quick here. Totally understand though. That's pretty late, dude. That's pretty late. But thank you for joining us. We have a fair amount of listeners in the UK, more than I ever would have planned on. So that's awesome. I have literally have family from the UK. So love y'all. Space Cowboy, what's up, dude? Wait, are you just getting here? You were here earlier, right, Space Cowboy? Am I crazy? I saw you this morning, but did you just get here tonight? I only have a copy of Absolute Batman 1. It's the variant. Really? Do you, Elite Super Grunt? You have a copy of Batman 1? Thomas Cloak says, no, it's all right. I like your streams. Well, cool, man. Just no pressure if your eyelids get heavy, you can check out anytime. God bless the UK, says Happy Cappy. Absolutely. Wish them all the best. Except for those beans and tuna on potatoes, guys. We gotta talk about that. You don't even have to stop, but we have to talk about it. An episode about cowboys visiting Europe. Oh, very interesting. That did happen. Even Buffalo Bill's Wild West show went to England and I think continental Europe. It was in Europe. Cool. Nick Sweeney says, I know how to talk to the girls. I love caps and stems too. Well, that's a popular thing now. That's a popular thing and completely legal in Oregon and maybe Colorado. So right on. Psilocybin Sweeney. That's your new nickname. Sweeney Cybin. Our good allies, the States. Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. The UK, we have a lot of Anglophiles here. You'd be surprised. I was over on the Rumbles. Oh, right on. Salty Cracker. Yeah. Cool. Elite Super Grunt? No, it's Absolute Batman, the first comic. I have a special cover edition. eBay says it's worth $50. Pretty cool, though. That's pretty cool. Let's see. I like the UK, says Armenian Bishop. Yeah, the UK is more popular here than I think maybe many Brits would imagine. It's America, though. We just like to talk a little mess, Z-Book says, I was doing something. I thought the Osage tribe were very tall. Most men over 6 feet. I haven't heard that, but I will look it up. Osage height. Now, the Cheyenne, a lot of northern tribes, the Lakota, the Blackfoot, I've seen many accounts of them being kind of universally tribe-wide tall people. I think both countries are run badly, says Thomas Cloak, not to get political. You're not going to find a lot of people here that disagree with that, man. Happy Cappy says Cadbury chocolate is the best from the UK. I'm with you. I'm with you. I love British chocolate. I love the little oranges that you smack. I love the fondant with the Ritter bars. Woo, woo, so good. Yeah, yeah. The full English breakfast is mostly okay. A full English breakfast kind of freaks me out though. When they start, everything's cool until we start adding beans. Then you guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with my British friends. I flip out. There's something in my head, my little American brain, that just flips out when you start adding beans. Like I can't deal with it. It makes me physically uncomfortable, and I don't know what to do with myself at that point. I love Reese's from the US. Oh, you guys don't get Reese's there? The mycologists say psilocybin. What does that mean, engineer? I'm lost on that one. Nick Sweeney says we have beef, Happy Cap. Now. Let's keep it civil. Beans for breakfast, says Happy Cap. Beans for breakfast, and beans on potatoes, and beans on toast. There's a lot of beans, and I got nothing against beans, and I got nothing against the British, but that's it doesn't give me a good feeling. No, that's what we nah, we do. That's what I'm saying. Oh, you love Reese? Yeah. Oh, duh, dude. I get what you're saying now. And you know what my favorite is, Thomas Cloak? Cadbury eggs. It's a very contentious subject, especially amongst Americans. I don't care. I love Cadbury eggs. I used to be a little fat kid, and they would give me like 20 Cadbury eggs for an Easter, and I would just eat them all that day because they're delicious. It's all class. The Cadbury egg is all class. Elite Super Grunt says, I'm Hispanic. I eat beans most every week. And here's the deal, Elite Super Grunt. I don't have a problem with the Hispanic beans for some reason. Like, put them on everything. I like them on everything. It's cool. Eggs, burritos, tacos, whatever, enchiladas. Like, it's cool. Put the beans everywhere. But when it's British beans, I get viscerally, palpably uncomfortable, and I don't know the psychology behind that. I'm not even justifying it. I'm just telling you how it is, like how I end up, how it makes me feel. I laughed when you did the demonstration with the pillows this morning stream, dude. Just before I went live, I was like, I'm not going to be able to say this. What am I going to do? And then I was like, you know what? We'll just demonstrate it. Let's see. History Chap is a British YouTube history channel. He does British. Oh yeah, I mean he's a massive channel. And yes, he does good work. Absolutely. Bean, our forever meal in South Texas. Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's what borracho means, right? That's what we have. Cadbury is their low-end version of Hershey, says Nick Sweeney. Now, Nick Sweeney, I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in your standards more than anything. I thought you would be a chocolate connoisseur, but you're betraying yourself here. You're betraying your ignorance on the subject. Now, Cadbury Eggs and the Cadbury Company as a whole puts out an absolutely stellar product. So I think we need to take a minute, take a deep breath, and kind of reevaluate what we're trying to communicate here. We'll circle back to it, as they say. We have beans on our breakfast in the UK, Thomas Cloak says. And listen, man, you are free to do that. It just makes Americans go a little crazy. Like, I don't know, it just activates something in us. Let's see. Cadbury tops Hershey Nick any day of the week, says Thomas Cloak. Oh, it's not even a contest. Black beans and eggs, says Artemio Moreno. Absolutely. Absolutely. Can't miss. I like beans for lunch or dinner, says Happy Cap. Yeah, if they're in a breakfast taco, it's fine. It's fine. Or breakfast burrito, it's fine. But in general, yes, I do feel like that should be more of a 12 p.m. and on kind of thing. Hershey is the only chocolate for me, says Pennsylvania Plowboy. We used to sell, well, you're in Pennsylvania. Yeah, that's fine. We used to sell milk to them back in the day. Did you really? Yeah, you'd be a little weird if it wasn't your preferred chocolate. You're from Pennsylvania. Let's see. Cadbury tops Hershey. We got that. Okay, Happy Cappy says, this is a great point, Happy Cappy. The Cadbury we buy in the US, the Cadbury we get in the US is not really up to snuff. It's not really the real thing. But even the imitation, I'll take it. But I agree. as with most of our food until little Bobby gets things right, most of our food kind of sucks compared to the British or continental European versions. Just got like soy lecithin and fillers and all this crap in it. I haven't met a bean I don't like, says Happy Cappy. Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's gross to put beans in breakfast. It's not objectively objectionable, but it bothers me. Let's see. Cadbury is a super refined, cheap, oversugared, waxy trash, says Nick Sweeney. Plus, Ritter is German. Okay, now Ritter, I should have been more specific and said it's European chocolate. So good point. But Cadbury is a quality chocolate, Nick Sweeney. And you have to take. I think to be fair, you have to use the UK version of it, not our cheap, crappy American version. Nick, where are you buying yours? Exactly, Happy Cappy. Where are you getting this? I think Nick Sweeney is just talking mess and stirring stuff up, which is fine. But I'm just saying, I prefer dark chocolate, says Stephen Miller. Bittersweet. Yeah, I'm making an exception with the Cadbury because generally I do prefer dark chocolate. Recently had a Hue bar, HU. I really liked it. It's a little pricey. Okay, a little pricey, but it's good. Hot cereal, eggs, bacon, sausage, pancake, waffles, says Happy Cappy. Look, as an American, that's kind of where I lean, but the rest of the world apparently looks at us like we're insane. And one of the reasons because of that is that they think we're eating dessert. Like they think we're eating a big, giant dessert for breakfast. To which I say, who cares if we are? To which I say, yes, isn't that awesome? But apparently Europeans find it disconcerting. But, we're we're weirded out by the beans, and they're weirded out by the pancakes. I feel like pancakes are less weird than beans. There you go. Bacon, egg taquitos, or molejas. I've never heard of mollejas for breakfast. Eating a big bowl of pinto beans and rice right now. Can't miss, dude. Like I said, anything here in North America, I feel like we can do the beans, but when it's in Europe, viscerally uncomfortable. If you were in the room with me, you'd be like, this guy's uncomfortable with that. Biscuit and gravy is a must, says Happy Cappy. True. And I feel like our friends in the UK are largely unfamiliar with the biscuit and gravy. And I've seen Brits try biscuits and gravy and just blow their minds. They're just like, they'll think, oh, this can't be that good. And it's like, brother, try it. And then they're like, wow, this is really good. My wife loves Cadbury cream eggs, says a little weird. Is that Space Cowboy? Are you a little weird? No, that's just the same emblem. My wife loves Cadbury cream eggs. I do too. And my close second is the Cadbury chocolate cream eggs. I think those are a little much for some people, but for me, no. Let's see. Sometimes I do generous scoop of powdered cacao in my coffee. Cacao is raw, unsweetened chocolate. Oh, I know cacao. I'll eat cacao nibs pretty frequently. Nick Sweeney, what are you up to up here? Nick Sweeney, you're just starting mess. A little weird says diabetes. It's what's for breakfast. Kind of true. I am. So you are Space Cowboy. Okay. Finkel is Eindhoven. I don't know what that means. Sausage or bacon gravy, says Happy Cappy. You know we make gravy out of any meat. We sure can. I feel like gravy. America's got gravy down, guys. We are the preeminent gravy producer in the world. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. I don't know what that means. I feel like I should know what that means, but I do not. Happy Cappy says ham gravy. Okay, I've never heard of that. Happy Cappy. Ham gravy. I mean, it wouldn't be bad, but Let's see. Refried beans, eggs, and cheese tacos for breakfast. Absolutely. I prefaced that. I said, listen, we can do eggs for breakfast if they're in a taco or burrito form. I'm cool with that. We can work with that. I'm more than cool with that. That's awesome. We can do that. In my household, it's black beans and eggs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I grow tired by them, says Artemio Moreno. Perfectly good. I could eat that every meal. Let's see here. Space Cowboy is a little weird. Got it. I thought that was the same logo. Oh, then you're saying Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel. I got you. See, sometimes you're just a little above my head. Your game speed is too fast for me sometimes, Space Cowboy. Looks like Nick Sweeney started a chocolate fight in the HOKC unlit back alley. He sure did. When I'm a wee laddie, I liked Cadbury eggs too. Then I grew up and grew away from my childish trash candy. Hey, Nick Sweeney, you're inciting. You're inciting, Nick Sweeney. Bit of honey is my favorite candy. I've never had one of those. They look pretty good though. I would try that. Do yous have Galaxy bars? I think those are Mars bars here. Is that right, Thomas Cloak? It's like chocolate nougat caramel. Is that about the same as a Galaxy bar? I love when my mom would make Swedish pancakes for dinner. I've never had a Swedish pancake. Nick Sweeney says, ham gravy. You are so down south, Happy Cappy. Yeah, that must be a Southern thing. That's not even a Texas thing. That's a Southern thing. Let's see. Similar, yes. It's the Galaxy bar. Well, what's in a Galaxy bar exactly? Because a Mars bar is pretty. There's no like nuts in it. It's just caramel, nougat, chocolate. But I like that simplicity. It's very good. Is it top five? I don't know, but it's good. Swedish pancakes are basically crepes. That's what I was picturing. But I love crepes. Crepes are great. Savory, sweet, either way. Yo, guys, I finally got the pistachio cream in for the Dubai chocolate cupcakes. It's taken me a while. It took a long time to have this stuff shipped in. But I got the Dubai pistachio cream. I'm going to have to order some more because I ate a bunch of it. It's really good. Mars has almonds. Mars has almonds? It must be like a variant of Mars, though, right? Mars doesn't have almonds in it automatically, does it? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, no. Space Cowboy says it has almonds too. Okay, my bad. It has almonds. Bit of honey. Yeah, I got to try a bit of honey. I just never have had one. Galaxy bar. You can get plain chocolate Galaxy bar, then you can get a caramel one too. So it's like chocolate and nougat, Thomas Cloak. Haven't seen a Mars bar in over a decade. I don't think they make them in the USA anymore. I'm pretty sure I've seen one. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've seen a Mars bar. Have you guys ever had a Zero bar? Those are popular in Texas. It's like almond nougats covered in white chocolate. Ooh, pure class. Mexican candy is the best, says Stephen Miller. It's pretty good, dude. It's pretty good. You would have a good showdown between them, the Brits, maybe like the Austrians or something. I've had a Zero bar, says Happy Cappy. What did you think? They can be a bit divisive, but me and all my hillbilly friends, we love them. Do you have Maltesers? The little the malt balls. I think we do, Thomas Cloak. We do have Abba Zabbas. One of my friends brought some chocolate to our annual camping trip. It was made with blue cheese. Was it good? I'm not going to say automatically no to that. I like chocolate. I like blue cheese. I don't know how that could work together, but I'd give it a shot. Thomas Cloak says, what are Zero bars? All right. So I thought this might be just like an American thing, but they're almond nougat, like vanilla almond nougat covered in white chocolate. And it's unique, but it feels like it's a more expensive experience than it is because it's just a little different than the other chocolate bars. It's got white chocolate and almond nougat. So it's very sweet, but if you like it, you like it. And if you don't, you really don't. Mr. Thomas, yes, we call them Whoppers. Yeah, okay. That's what I was thinking. We call them Whoppers. You have Maltesers, but they're a Whopper. Got it. Anyone remember O. Henry Bar? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're still there. I'm pretty sure O. Henry Bars are there. That sounds horrible. A Zero bar, says Comic Dog. Yeah, you either like it or you don't. Oh, you mean the blue cheese part? Yeah, how did they mix the coffee and the blue cheese? I grew up only 4 miles north of the Rio Grande Valley in Weslaco. Oh, yeah, I know where it's Weslaco, right? That's way down there, though, Stephen Miller. That's way down there. Both? Oh, you mean both? Yeah, yeah. I get it, man. I've had many, many people be disgusted by the Zero bar, even the mention of it. Australia has musk candy. I've heard of that. I watched a short on that one time. Happy Cappy says, I do not like blue cheese. Totally understand. When I was, a kid, I hated anything that had a strong flavor like that. But now I really like it. I like it on steak, stuff like that. What about Wispa bars? Is that like a wafer? Never heard of Wispa bars. Um, let's see. Payday is best non-chocolate candy bar. Yes. I'm gonna say yes. And you never get a bad one. Like they always pull through for you. Well, I'll keep you around, Nick says Happy Cappy. I'm glad we came to some kind of agreement there. Nick just likes to give you a hard time. It's his way of showing affection. I like Payday, says Happy Cappy. Yeah, I think they have a chocolate Payday out too, which is like, I feel like it's gilding the lily a little bit, but I'm not against it. It just feels like a little extra. I like to keep things. It's like music. If you don't have to play the notes, don't play the notes. And like if you don't have to add it, just don't add it. I'm not a big fan of like the take 5 bar because there's just like 5 things going on. It's like, what do you want me to do with this? I am in fact in Mexican restaurant right now, says Artemio Moreno. I'm jealous, man. I haven't had dinner yet. Payday equals perfect, says Comic Dog. Yeah, it's top 5. I love blue cheese here in Minnesota. They're all about ranch. Oh, dude, Nick Sweeney, bro. I can't do ranch. I can't do ranch at all. Have you seen, don't they have the thing called a hot plate? Or no, not a hot plate. What's it called, Nick Sweeney? It's a hot dish, I think, called a hot dish where they put everything in a casserole pan and bake it. Ooh, boy. And Payday keeps fairly well in the summer. Exactly. Better than a chocolate bar. Correct. I would agree 100%. You can leave it in your backpack at 100 degrees and it's just going to be same as you left it. It's crazy you call crisps chips and call chips fries. That is, hey man, we think it's crazy you call chips crisps and fries chips. But I get it. I get it. We have some odd names for things, I'm sure. And we call biscuits, don't you call biscuits a cookie is a biscuit, right? Something like that. And a biscuit for us is a very specific, thick, circular piece of bread, I guess. I don't even know how we would describe our biscuits. What is a biscuit in the UK? Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, we got that. I have trouble making new friends is in the more normal fashion, says Nick Sweeney. Well, that's all right. It's just as long as you make the friends. It doesn't matter how you do it. And Payday keeps fairly well. We got that. We got that. Can somebody explain how this blue cheese and chocolate thing works? I haven't seen how that played out yet. Kinder Bueno is Z-Book says Kinder Bueno is by far the best. I've never had one and they look super good. So maybe I got to try one of those. LOL, Nick, I have no friends except y'all. My circle so small. It's a period. Well, glad you're here, man. Glad you're here, ma'am. Happy Cappy. You guys you're the most social interaction that I have too. I'm just up here working, getting the episodes out. Comic Dog says a biscuit is a vehicle to eat my gravy. I agree, but it's also a fantastic vehicle for McDonald's all-time greatest breakfast, the bacon, egg, and cheese. And I kind of go back to the simplicity thing. I don't care. I don't want the McGriddles. I want the regular biscuit. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that's a contentious thing. Everyone loved the McGriddles, but it's just like we're getting away from the basics. It's like how the NFL became like all crossing routes and passes and stuff. Like, no, run game. Put the fullback back in there. Put the fullback back in. Get rid of the McGriddles. Biscuits only and fullbacks. Biscuits and fullbacks. You understand what I'm saying? Y'all have donuts in the UK, says Happy Cappy. I hope they do. A biscuit is like what you dip in your cup of tea. Yeah, right. Like a Biscoff or something, right? My Vitesse digestive biscuits are the best, says Viteri. Oh, those look good. The digestive biscuits, those look pretty good. I made chocolate chip cookies for some British chicks one time. They were sisters. They were blown away. My neighbor here in the complex, just like this nice little holiday thing, made 5 or 6 cookies and put them in little bags and left them at all of our doors. And it was like, A, I'd never think to do that. And B, they're fantastic cookies. So now I feel like I have to go get like, I don't know, a car for her or something. Like a vehicle car. Let's see. Welcome aboard, Cappy Doodle. Good to have you. Good to have you. Cappy Doodle. I like that name. Sausage, egg, and biscuit. Yeah, you know what? Sausage. I probably prefer sausage over bacon, really. William T. Sherman was named after Chief Tecumseh. Yeah, William Tecumseh Sherman. They had never heard of chocolate chip cookies. Oh, that's rough, man. That's true. I guess they wouldn't have heard. That's more of an American recipe, huh? And it's from like what, the 1920s or 30s. It's very recent. It was made as part of I think it was made by a fictional character. No. This was a real one. Betty Crocker is a fictional character, but the lady had made this recipe up for the chocolate chip company, I believe. And what she got in return for her recipe was an unlimited supply of chocolate chips. I believe that's how the deal worked out. UK biscuits are more like our graham crackers. Oh, Carrie R. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, they're more like our graham crackers. You want to talk about a complete nut, though. The guy that invented graham crackers was crazy. Graham crackers were invented as a libido preventative, basically. And he's like, well, if we can just feed all these we got a bunch of teenage boys to stay at this camp, which first of all is weird. And he's like, well, if we feed them nothing but vegetables and graham crackers, it will control their urges. And it's just like, well, you're a fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? Super duper weird, though. Him and Harvey Kellogg. No, that's the guy from Batman. Kellogg, though, the guy that invented the Kellogg breakfast cereals, like invented cornflakes, complete psychopaths, completely insane. Just literally insane people. I made root beer floats for a pair of boys from the UK, and they gagged like it was rotten meat. I mean, we would do that with Vegemite, though. Vegemite's rough, guys. Vegemite's rough. And if you really want to go down the UK food rabbit hole, go look up Spud Bros. Look up any jacket potato channel on YouTube where they sell jacket potatoes out of a truck, and they just have they'll come up and with a straight face they'll say, yes, I'd like a jacket potato, which is a baked potato with chili, beef, green curry, tuna, and beans. And they'll just be like, oh, okay, here you go. And then they put it all on there and give it to them like it's perfectly legal and fine, which if it is, I disagree with that. But that's what these people eat over there. It's crazy, Thomas Cloak. It's crazy. Fish and chips, UK best dish. Yes, but you got to have the vinegar. Like, you can't miss these steps. Yeah, you need the vinegar. What else do you put on them? Malt vinegar, something else. They're my favorite. I think mostly a Midwest thing. A hot dish. Wait, no. Have you ever heard of anything called holiday jingle cookies? Also called Santa's favorite. They're made by Salerno or Keebler. They're anise flavored gingerbread cookies with red and white sprinkles. No, dude, that would be really good. They're my favorite, says a little weird, who's also a space cowboy. I think they're mostly a Midwest thing. Well, I would definitely try that. That sounds really good. They're called Santa's favorites. Never heard of that. Nick Sweeney, Pims are better than Veets. Are those the digestive biscuits? Thomas Cloak says, of course we have donuts. Okay, cool. We just sometimes we ask some crazy questions, man. Americans, I'm an American. I love being American, but we can be a little provincial, I think is the word. Let's see. Yous have Wendy's. We don't. Oh, you guys don't have Wendy's? Dude, Wendy's is falling off. Okay. Everyone here will tell you that. But back in the 90s, when I was a kid, Wendy's was a restaurant. It wasn't a fast food place. I mean, it was, but like you could go down and sit there and have like a baked potato and chili. And they had like a skylit roof, like a greenhouse kind of thing. It was amazing. And now it just sucks. Space Cowboy says they taste like my childhood. We're talking about the ginger cookies. I'm gonna have to go get some, man. HEB might have them. Thomas Cloak says you need salt and vinegar with your fish and chips. Salt, that's what I was forgetting. When you put that on there, it's like, whoa, this is fantastic. Do you do the mash and potato thing where they put the liquor on it, Thomas? Spud Bros, yes. Thomas, do you also have you ever been to Spud Bros? But I was watching a video on the jellied eel and the mash and pie, is it called? But they put this like green parsley sauce over the top. And for Americans, bro, that's rough. That's really, really rough for us. That is borderline traumatizing. Little Chocolate Donuts, says engineer, the breakfast of champions. Yeah, I love that. I love that SNL sketch. Oh, yeah, you just said the breakfast of champions would actually kill John Belushi. Look it up. Is it? I feel like there's something sketchy about his unfortunate passing. They're awesome in Chicagoland. The cookies are about $5 a box. I've had to buy them online this year, and they're $15 a box. Doesn't surprise me with the way things are going right now. I used to always hit up Wendy's for their premium chili. No more, says Nick Sweeney. Nick Sweeney, you and me both, dog. Exactly. I thought their chili was go to. It's fallen off. You could go there and get an adult meal. You're like, I don't want a hamburger right now. I want chili and a baked potato. And they would hook you up and you could sit underneath a sunlit window and eat it like a gentleman. And now you just get some slop in a bag. Bamadiana says, I'm back. Good to have you. Good to have you. Glad you made it back. We are mostly talking British fast food and American desserts. Tuna, says one Freddie V. Yes, the Brits will ask for tuna on their baked potatoes. It's crazy. Beans and tuna. But hey, we're not judging. We're just observing. Okay. Thomas Cloak says, remember the restaurant in America, the Heart Attack Grill? Yeah, it's still open. If you're not familiar with the Heart Attack Grill, it's in Arizona, and you weigh in on this like basically cattle scale before you go into the in the restaurant. And I believe if you're over 400 pounds or over 300 pounds, you eat for free. Level 3 supporter, Nick Sweeney, man. Thank you very much. You're a real one, dude. Thank you very much. You're seriously an invaluable member of this chat. You are a driving part of the engine, man. We don't know what we'd do without you. So thank you very much. What the heck is that? Bama says. Which part are you asking about, Bama? Heart Attack Grill or tuna? Black pudding, says Eduardo Bolvera. Is that an 8? 8 Olvera? Black pudding. That's intense, man. It's made out of blood. So again, for us Americans, the blood thing, it's very common in Europe. I get it. But I kind of feel like we're thinking we didn't win a revolution to eat blood. You know? I don't know. That's my first take on that. Bamadiana says, oh, China does a lot of blood sausages. Absolutely. And look, it makes more sense from a conservation, use every part of the animal aspect. Let's see. But I don't know. It's tough for me. That's a tough one. When I lived in Florida, says Space Cowboy, I was a starving college student and we'd buy Wendy's AYCE plate. I don't know what the AYCE plate is. For $2, yeah. And then keep that plate for a week and sneak in a few times. Oh, you'd keep the plate. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but Wendy's you could count on it. It was an institution. You knew Dave Thomas wasn't going to lead you wrong. And now it's fallen off. I don't understand membership or anything else like that. Just get a P.O. box, please, says Nick Sweeney. Well, membership works by you sign up for it, and then you get early access to episodes. You get members-only chats now. You get, well, wait. I was saying members-only chats. What do we have? Okay. Do you want members-only live streams too? No. Okay, so now 58% say no. You want to leave it open for the people. Okay, so I guess maybe we don't do members-only live streams, but we'll give you free previews on stuff. You get members-only early stuff. We're going to add stuff in for discounts on the books and the merch and everything. I would like to do live streams. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I need to give you guys members-only live streams, but maybe what we'll do is take the coffee chats and make them available to members only after we get done. I just feel like I got to give you guys more stuff. And we'll have members-only episodes coming up. What else? I'll give you the previews of chapters from the book and previews of thumbnails and stuff. It's just a way more involved way to watch the show. And we're going to keep adding stuff into the pipeline. We've only recently got this many members, so we really want to make it not just like cool, but definitely like worth your while. Same thing with the merch. I want to make really cool stuff that everybody's going to enjoy. Wendy put lots of ground beef in their chili. Oh, great beef in their chili. It was thick and so rich, savory and meaty. Yeah, I heard somebody that worked there say, well, that's the day old beef. And I was just like, so, you know, I don't need like fresh beef in the chili. It's fine. I mean, if you eat hot dogs, they're basically made out of the rest of the pig and anything else they can find, says Eduardo. Yeah, true. I don't love hot dogs, man. I don't love hot dogs. Probably for that reason. Leave all of this open to the people. Fair enough. You know what, Nick Sweeney, even if you're joking, I've heard plenty of people say that, which I've found surprising, to be honest with you. But I respect it. and I work for y'all. So whatever y'all want to do, we'll go with that. The creator of Coca-Cola was a Confederate soldier, Pemberton, right? Is that right? Oh, hey, but I thought of it before I read the rest of the chat, Arterio. And his name was John S. Pemberton, and he fought under a general named John C. Pemberton, and both were incompetent. Yes, basically. Long story short. When I get back to work, I'll get a membership, says basically a little weird. Oh, sure, man. And no pressure, but I think if you enjoy the show, it is well worth your while to do so. When I get back to work, got it. Cool. Chili cheese coney dogs are awesome. Elite super grind. Dude, I've never had one, but I would eat one. They look good. Excuse me. Also the Chicago dog. I've had a Chicago dog once and I was like, whoa, this is good. So there are dogs that I'm open to. Bacon wrapped, add mustard and onions. Correct. Yes. I'd go with that. Blood sausage was made because it kept very good. It kept good for a very long time. Sure. And you know what? I would try it. And I don't think it's gross or um, anything like that. It's very, for Americans, I think, very culturally outside of our scope, but it's very common in many, many cultures. I won't join anything too fancy for the people. History belongs to everyone and all of us. I respect that, but it's a little red. You know what I'm saying? It's a little comrade-y. But I get what you're saying, and I respect it, Nick Sweeney. I mean, you call ice lollies popsicles. Oh, well, a popsicle. I'm going to stick up for my country here a little bit, Thomas Cloak. A popsicle makes way more sense than ice lollies. Way more sense. It rolls off the tongue. Ice lollies is tough. We have summer sausage. Oh, yeah, summer sausage is really good. A lot of lab grown meat, and they don't have to tell you that. I know. I know. I watched a little bit more on, and I've been well aware of that for years, Bama Deanna, but I saw some more news on that this afternoon, which is just it's gross. It's got to be an all beef hot dog. Yes, that's my condition, Space Cowboy. Made up some original formula Coca-Cola in the 80s, but it tasted like started fluid. Really? You made up an original formula with Coca-Cola though? How did you get the necessary ingredient for that? I guess if it was the 80s, but curious. The blue cheese and chocolate, I believe, is made like s'mores, but with salted crackers. Dude, that's crazy. Huh. It's like that sounds crazy, but maybe it can work. I don't know why I would try that. It seems like, just crazy enough to work. I'm careful of the meat I buy. Yeah, I think we all should be. And I mean, I'm fully in support of our cattle farmers, so that's why I am careful of the meat I buy. But it's unfortunate that we have to be careful of it. Why I can't get Campbell's soup now, says Happy Cappy. Why not? I mean, you can if you want to. Pepsi or Coke, says Thomas Cloak. I would say Coke. Though Elvis liked Pepsi, so who am I? A lot of Texas hot dog places here, and they are the best of hot dogs. If you ask a Texan about anything from Texas, they're going to tell you it's the best, and most of the time they're right. Let's see. What do you think about an elite membership class at HOKC? Elite membership class, like I think that's a cool idea, but can you define a little bit more by what you mean by that, Nick Sweeney? Coke, only Coke, and in cans. Now, I would differ a little bit. I like my Coke in the glass bottles, Nick Sweeney. But I grew up with Coke in cans, yes. I had shrimp tamales. I've never had shrimp tamales. That sounds good. Dr. Pepper. Yeah, when I was a kid, we used to go to the original Dr. Pepper place in Dublin, Texas, and they would make the Dr. Pepper right in front of you, like squirt the syrup in there and add the water, and woo, it was good. Glass is best. Yeah, I like glass. Mexican Coke is the best. Yeah, that's my preferred. That's my preferred form of Coke, Coca-Cola, for the terms of service here. Soda is the best out of the fountain. Nothing else is close. That's probably true. But if I had to take a second place goes to glass bottles. Anybody like kombucha? Kombucha's kind of replaced soda for me, but it's a very contentious drink. I was asking our mushroom maiden her opinion also about members perks. Yeah, if you guys have anything you'd like me to add, let me know. I want to add, like I said, want to make it absolutely worth your money and make it add to your experience from the channel. I don't like fountain Coca-Cola, says Happy Cappy. Hmm. I get what he's saying though. It is fresher. They just closed the only Wiener Schnitzel in Reno for road widening. So bummed. The next closest Wiener Schnitzel is over an hour away. I mean, Wiener Schnitzel is kind of underrated, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody this upset over their closure. I'm sorry, Space Cowboy. We got a petition to get. That's the only one in Reno, though. Reno's not a small town. I'm surprised that's the only one. I grow a lot of my own food, and you can't even buy seeds like you could years ago, says Bama Deanna. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. They really, yeah, in many ways got us over a barrel. You do your best, right? I get it. I'm the same way where like I just get so frustrated by it and you just think like, this is gross. But we can only do what we can do. Shrimp tamales is good, but the ones I got had the shell in them and I had to peel them off. Now that's not good. But the idea of shrimp tamales, that sounds good. Mexican Coast tastes wrong. Bad, says Nick Sweeney. You're just an ardent American Coke fan, huh? I appreciate that. Coca-Cola fan. Black coffee tastes good too, right out of our wonderful mug. And I don't know, I hardly ever drink soda, but when I do, I like Mexican Coca-Cola. Let's see, right? Yeah, blew my mind that there is that only one. Yeah, I mean, you'd think there'd be more than that in Reno. I like shrimp fettuccine. Yeah, of course. Who doesn't like shrimp fettuccine? I don't know how authentic it is to the Italian experience, but I like it. After World War I, Hershey chocolate was airdropped over Berlin for German children. He was known as the Berlin Candy Bomber. Really? I didn't know that. Arizona Boy says, Brandon, I took your advice and started a YouTube channel. Fantastic, man. Awesome. I wrote my first script today. Dude, that is so cool. That is fantastic. I know a lot of you would have all the talent and the knowledge and the requisite skills necessary to start a channel. So um, that's great, Arizona Boy. That's when you get it up, like shoot me an email too. Let me know what you're doing, and then when you get it up, we'll post it here. You can send some people your way. World War Two. Did I say World War One, Armenian Bishop? I meant World War Two for the Hershey airdrop. Shell on in tamales. They never ate shrimp before. Yeah, maybe they just accidentally left the shells on the shrimp. I guess I've gotten too used to corn syrup. Mexican Coke is too sweet for me. Really? That's interesting, says Clock Cutter. I don't think have you chimed in tonight yet, Clock Cutter? Is this the first that we're seeing from you? It's been a long one, so I'm not sure. But if it is, it's good to see you, man. I know you were here this morning. Ooh, my name's green now. Is this because I bought the membership? Yes, it is. Welcome to the club, Nick Sweeney. Clock Cutter said I just got here. Cool. Well, good to see you. Welcome on in. An absolute champion and a regular of the program, Clock Cutter, has walked in. Let's see. I started the recording today as well. Cool. I got to figure out how to add pictures to the video. I need to use free pictures and whatnot. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you have any questions, hit me up in the email, man. I'll do my best to help you out. Let's see. Coca-Cola out of a refrigerated can, poured over ice on a hot summer day. Nothing else comes close. I think for me, the number one would be the out of a glass bottle, maybe out of the fountain and then a glass bottle. But then, yes, third for me is the refrigerated can. After I eat shrimp tamales, I guess you can tell the Eduardo said, after I eat shrimp tamales, I guess you can call me the Hershey bomb dropper as well. Fair enough. That took me a second to get that joke, but that's funny. That was fast too, Eduardo. That was fast. Anyway, people, I'm going to go. It's 1:30. It's 3:30 a.m., says Thomas Cloak. I'll see you on the next stream. Great stream again. Thanks so much, Thomas Cloak, man. Come on back. Go get some sleep. Have a good rest of your night. Always great to see you, man. This tech side of starting a YouTube channel has got me scared to get started, but I'd like to, says Comic Dog. You can do it really simply. You can download CapCut for free. You can use iMovie if you have a Mac. A mic that's just a good starter mic is a Blue Snowball, and you can get that for $50-$60 on Amazon. And most of it's just in the writing and then finding the pictures. And you can use Canva also to do your thumbnails. Um, so it's an intensive process when you first start, but it's pretty simple. And from there, you just add audio to your pictures. Maybe I can start. I'll do like a class or something on how to start your YouTube channels. I know there's a lot of you that would like to, and you all have all the requisite skills. I get it. It's just the tech part where you're like, what am I going to do? Like, how do I get the actual movie? How do I get the actual video up on YouTube? But it's a simple process. If I can do it, anybody here can do it. Just say no to farm raised shrimp. Agreed. Agreed. And some farm raised salmon. Let's see. Okay. Keep us updated on your release date, Arizona boy. Yeah, Terry R says, keep us updated on your release date. We'd love to know. We'd love to watch it, and we'll send some viewers your way. Um, Nick Sweeney agrees on the preferred delivery method of Coca-Cola, right out of the fridge and into a iced glass. It's a history channel, but I'm digging into people who aren't looked at often, says Arizona boy. I started with my family. Yeah, we're going to do probably this next week here, but we've been in contact about doing a stream on, remind me, Arizona boy. It's a very well-known war, but is it the Black Hawk War? But Arizona boy has a family member who is directly involved in some very famous conflicts on the American frontier. So he's got plenty of stories. I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, anything that you need help with, email me and I'll try and be of some assistance, point you in the right direction. Let's see. It isn't hard to do YouTube because I can, so you can. It is true though, dude. If you ask any of my friends, they're just like, I'm pretty technologically illiterate. And so all of my friends that have known me for a long time are like, yeah, you're a history nerd, so that makes sense. But we don't even know how you turn the computer on. So if I can do it, anybody can do it. Fountain Coke usually sucks because it's usually mixed wrong or the lines. Yeah, but if you get one that's on point, Space Cowboy, it's good. Yeah, beer and soda. I put the freezer for about 10, 15 minutes. Yeah, I would take I can't really drink beers anymore, but I would get it home and then put it on the ice in the freezer. And it seemed like it'd take about 15 minutes. So I have a Texan uncle who says 7 minutes on ice is as cold as a beer can get. So maybe he's right. My YouTube channel has 2 videos of my animals and that's it, says Bamadiana. Well, if you want us to promote it, let me know. I drink maybe 3 beers a year. Yeah, I'm probably at that level now, Happy Cappy, but I really do like the taste of good beer. Let's see. The Battle of Point Pleasant. Is that what you're doing? Yeah. That's what we're doing on the stream on. Dude, sorry, Arizona boy. You probably know this, but I have like 10 titles called The Battle of This floating around in my head at all times. So yes, the Battle of Point Pleasant is what we'll be doing a live stream on probably in the next week here. I gotta meet up with Arizona boy, but his family member was directly involved in it. John Nickel, is that the name of it, Arizona boy? Your great 7 times removed grandfather, John Nickel, with 2 L's. If beer can't be drank room temperature, it's not worth drinking. You're one of those, Pennsylvania plowboy. I get it, but I like them nice and cold. Do they have any great IPAs there in Austin? I think Carbach, spelled with a K, Karbach, has several great IPAs in the Austin area. Carbach Brewing. I think they're out of San Antonio, but or maybe Bernie or something. But one, I like all of their beers. I'm a big IPA guy, which draws me a lot of hate, and I understand. I don't like that I like IPAs, but I do. I just created the YouTube presence for the next Texas Railroad Commission. He's old school oil field, and he's pissed. Why is he mad? Time to take the dog out for a walk in this snowstorm. Yay! Oh man, I don't envy that. There's no snowstorm here in Austin. If there is, the whole place shuts down. Trust me. But it's probably like 70 degrees here. There's been many Christmases here where it's been warm and sunny. It's an odd thing. Terry R says, you make it look easier than it is, HOKC. Man, go ask my friends and family. They'll tell you I don't make it look that easy. Pennsylvania Plowboy says, some IPAs are good, but some are like eating grass. And I totally get it. Like I said, I don't really like that I like IPAs, but I do like them. I love IPAs, says Eduardo 8 Olvera. especially since they were basically brewed here in Southern California, right? Like it's kind of the um, is that the genesis of it though? I know that America I thought they kind of spread from Southern California, but it's an India pale ale, right? I thought it was so strong because it was meant to preserve the ale or something on its way back to Britain, something like that. John Nickel was the father of Joseph. Oh, Joseph Nickel. Okay, okay. I got pretty close though, right? John served under George Washington at the Fort Duquesne expedition. Okay. I have a transmitter and collar so my dog walks herself. Oh, cool. Right on. That'd be a good option. When my great grandma turned 100, my uncle made a really cool and, for an amateur, really well produced documentary about her life. Oh, that's very cool. He made VHS copies for all the family members. I wish I could. Well, you could make a YouTube channel, Space Cowboy. Terry R does not like IPAs, I think. Which, like I said, totally understand. It's a very, very, very contentious drink. Let's see. Only sour beers are fit for warm drinking, says Nick Sweeney. Where's snow coming? I cannot wait for snow, says Space Cowboy. My dogs love the snow, and so do I. I am not a snow guy, man. I am not a snow guy. IPAs are such a millennial thing. Fair enough. This Gen Xer never understood their popularity. I think I've said before on this stream that, like, listen, I got a lot of beef with my own generation. Okay. A lot of stuff that my generation loves, I just never really got. But IPAs, yeah, I like them. Just because it's millennial doesn't mean it's bad. Millennials catch a lot of flack. But yeah, some of it, like stomp clap music, I don't care. Kings of Leon, I don't like it. When they were putting bacon on everything, of the super expensive burger joints with a guy with a beard and a man bun charges you like $25 for a burger with a egg on it. Trust me, I got a lot of beef with millennials. Don't worry. I used to chew the hops right off the vines. You're a real man, Nick Sweeney. It is snowing in Kentucky. Wow. In the email I sent you, I put in there was John was with Washington at the Battle of Monongahela, which I can't confirm after doing some more research. He was for sure at Fort Duquesne. Then we'll kind of just air more towards Fort Duquesne. That's how history research works, isn't it? I get it, Arizona boy. I get it. IPAs are an acquired taste, says Space Cowboy. They are. Yeah, they are. Hot shiner, cold shiner, better than no shiner. I've drank a hot shiner before. Yeah, that's true. Bama Deanna, thank you. Arizona Boy says, thank you for doing some of that. It made me look into this stuff more. I think I missed a Bama Deanna chat. Oh, yeah, I remember y'all talking about that. Bama Deanna says, Arizona Boy and me are related. I found out after a little bit of genealogy. True. I remember you talking about that. We have a lot of talented genealogists in this chat. Let's see. Kind of catching up on the chats here. A lot of chats, guys. Thanks for all the participation tonight. I'm learning a lot here and kind of ranting about my generation. Now, I'm a millennial, right? So like I do like my millennial stuff, but like I said, Kings of Leon sucks. Bacon on donuts sucks. Trying to think of what else. Scrubs, the show, it sucks. Like 90% of their shows just suck. Let's see. They're terrible, dry and rough. I was a wee laddie then. I'm confused there. Turns out we're several of the same. We're the same people, says Arizona Boy. Oh, you and Bama Deanna? There's a really insane music genre out there that's literally just digital noises. Oh, yeah. It's absolutely yeah, I get it. It's the R word. Oh, I mean, I don't know. I'm open to a lot of music. Yeah, that's a tough one where it's just digital noises. I've seen plenty of it. I went down that rabbit hole. It's one of those things like I can find it interesting for about 30 seconds and then I'm like, okay, this is stupid. Or this is tiresome for me, I would say. That 70s show, I liked it at the time. I didn't really get what was going on though. I was in high school, very straight edge, and they would all sit around in the garage and they were like, you know, but I didn't know what they were doing at the time. So I was like, why do they keep having these meetings? Why are we having corporate meetings with our friends here? I don't understand. So it took me a little while to get that. And then I thought Hyde was a really cool guy, and turns out he's not that cool. Hey, wait, 90s cartoons are great. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not, there's lots of stuff about the millennials that I like, and it's part of I'm a millennial, right? It's part of my makeup. I'm going to assert that Friends was a millennial show. Oh, it's a Gen X show. That's not a millennial show. Everyone in the show was a Gen Xer. A millennial show is like, I don't know, Big Bang Theory or Scrubs or New Girl. Johnny Bravo and the 19th Amendment. Johnny Bravo was based, yeah. Dexter. Trying to think of other ones. Not the show Dexter. What was it? Dexter on Cartoon Network. All the 90s. Like, I think Gen X made the best Simpsons episodes for sure. The 90s Simpsons is fantastic. South Park is millennial. Yeah, I guess so. That's a tough one. It is kind of a mix of Gen X and millennials. I am back. My phone died. Oh, we were wondering where you went. I was busy shooting slingshots. Well, make sure you bring a portable charger with you next time, Elite Super Grunt. We were worried. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Right, right. Trying to think of whatever. Ed, and Eddie. A lot of the older cartoons have been banned because of yeah, I know. I second Cappy 70s cartoons. 70s cartoons just always, to a millennial, they freak us out. They like legitimately freak us out. Even the short things on Saturday morning, like I'm just a bill here on Capitol Hill. It freaks us out. We don't know what to do with it. The lines are all squiggly. It makes us nervous. I love Squidbillies, says Bama Deanna. Bama, I am a massive, massive Squidbillies fan. I quote Early Kyler all the time. I quote his hats. So it's so fantastic. And if you're from a hillbilly culture, it's so accurate. Everybody knows a guy like Early Kyler. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is one of the best cartoons from millennial generation. I don't remember that one. Batman and X-Men animated series are peak. Agreed. Squidbillies was a trip. It is a trip, and it's way more esoteric than you think it's going to be. But it's I mean, one of my favorite shows. I loved watching Adult Swim. That's a very millennial heavy programming block for sure. Like Old Greg, right? Remember? And Tim and Eric, that's from the Tim and Eric show. What else was on there? Space Ghost. That was pure millennial programming. The Oblongs, right? And I think a lot of stuff like Reno 911, a lot of the shows that were on Cartoon Network or on Comedy Central. The Oblongs, yeah. Yes, there are a lot of early Kylers around here. I've met many, many, many early Kylers in my time, Bamadiana. Unknown Henson plus Squidbillies. Unknown Henson's a legend. What y'all know about Robot Chicken? Fair amount. Yeah, Robot Chicken was huge on Adult Swim. There are 2 seasons of the 90s show on Netflix. Yeah, I forgot the 90s show. There was that they were counting on that to really blow up, and it just never did. Adult Swim got me into anime, says Elite Supergirl. I haven't gotten into anime, but I've got a way more charitable opinion of it now. Because when I was growing up, my friends would really like it, and I just didn't understand it. And I thought it was less detailed and less evolved than American animation. And in fact, the opposite is absolutely true. It is way more involved and has way more depth than 90% of American shows. Which it sounds like I'm ripping on American shows. Like I'm not. I'm giving more credit to anime than I originally did. Squidbillies is nuts, says Space Cowboy. It is. It's crazy. And they can take hard turns really quickly. You can think like this episode is about this, and then it just turns into being about aliens or something. Johnny Quest from the 60s. Steve Miller, I'm with you on that. In fact, 60s cartoons, I don't think freak us millennials out, like Rocky and Bullwinkle. What was the Mountie? Dudley Do-Right. Those don't, I don't know. It evokes a sense of nostalgia in our little millennial brains or our hardened millennial hearts. But the 70s ones, I don't know. They freak me out, man. Pff, comic dog. You think I don't know Brave Star, dog? Brave Star was my life. Brave Star was a lifestyle for young me. I'll bring my parents on some point, and they'll tell you, like, listen, this little kid on his little Spectrum made us watch Brave Star like a million times because I was just like Oh, you guys, there's no reason to watch anything else because Brave Star has it all. Okay. Oh, Eduardo, I was almost going to bring this up. What about Celebrity D Word Unalive match? Um, that's a tough one. I'm a huge fan, but is it a millennial show? I would say that belongs to Gen X because it's just a little before millennials' time. So I think it belongs to Gen X. Now, another contentious topic there, I would say, would be Rocco's Modern Life. Now, I feel like Doug is a millennial thing. I feel like Angry Beavers is a millennial thing. Trying to think of, there's one other that I'm leaving out. Obviously, Salute Your Sorts is a millennial thing. There's one more cartoon that I'm leaving out that could be kind of in the middle. Blanking on it, but Rocco might be Gen X. It's got relatively mature subject matter, and I feel like some of the jokes are so inside jokes that they're made for a Gen X audience because it came out in the mid 90s. So, oh, Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, man. Ren and Stimpy was probably my favorite cartoon as a kid. And I think it's so advanced that it's really meant for Gen X, which is unfortunate. I wish we could claim it, but I think we got to give Ren and Stimpy and Rocco's Modern Life to Gen X. King of the Hills, Gen X. We got to give that to Gen X. Simpsons, I feel like we got to give to Gen X. Did y'all ever watch Happy Tree Friends on early YouTube? No, I did not watch Happy Tree Friends. If you're a real millennial, you'll know Strong Bad and Trogdor, the Burninator. Pinky in the Brain, absolutely. That's millennial. Yeah, okay. It's millennial. Hell, I watched MASH and loved that. Dude, I watched Happy Cappy, not dude, excuse me, man. I watched MASH every morning as a kid. I didn't even really understand it was in the Korean War. I was just like, well, they're out there doing something. They're helping people. It's like, no, they're in the Korean War. I was like, oh, okay. There's a cool AI video of Johnny Quest on YouTube. Someone used AI to generate a live action Johnny Quest episode. Really? Is this cool? Is it cool? I think that's reaching the current capacity of what AI can do. I'm not anti AI though. I would watch that. Let's see. Crap, I've heard 80%. I've not heard of 80% of these shows. Really? Pennsylvania Plowboy? My wife and I both work for REMSA when we moved to Reno. We were literally 911, Reno 911 for the first 5 years that we lived here. That's awesome, Pennsylvania Plowboy. That's awesome, man. I've just started rewatching that show again, and it's just so good. So good. So many side characters and so many people who are just about to blow up. And then right after that show, they blew up. Like, uh, got Key and Peele, both Key and Peele, Zach Galifianakis, Nick Swardson, excuse me. Gosh, several others that are just kind of blanking. Just what a show! What a show! And I was one of the few shows that I loved it when it came out, so I'm proud of that. A lot of shows missed me when they came out. Cowboy Bebop, Inuyasha, and Yu Yu Hakusho are my favorite anime. I know of all those, I just haven't watched them, and I'm open to watching them now. I've become much more sympathetic to Japanese culture over the last 2 or 3 years. Really interested in judo, and that kind of opened me up. Okay, I'm cool with it. No, the one of the coolest guys I've ever met was an exchange student from Japan. I was on the wrestling team in high school, and that guy came in. He was like 120 pounds, and he's whooped everybody's ass with judo. It was crazy. And he was so happy to be there. So we were just like, bro, why are you happy to be here? Wrestling's not a happy sport. You don't see happy people in wrestling. He was happy as all get out. You can't forget Dragon Ball Z. No, for sure. I probably should watch that because a lot of millennials reference Dragon Ball Z, and I'm just out of the loop, man. Stephen Miller says I had to go to work at age 10 on the family farm, so not a lot of time for TV. I get it. But if you're looking for a place to start with 90s TV, I would say start at Rocco's Modern Life. Oh, guys, I just remember the other show, Rugrats. That's a millennial show. I know it's a lot about Gen X parents. I get it. I get that part's there, but it's a millennial show. Did you watch Hong Kong Phooey? No, man. Bama Deanna, excuse me. I read the comment first and then the name. No, but I remember that. I didn't watch it. That's funny. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Dragon Ball Z, but most fans forget about Dragon Ball. I didn't know there was a Dragon Ball. Let's Let's see. How could I buy a membership for someone? Says Nick Sweeney. Okay. I think you go you click the little dollar sign at the bottom of the chat. And at the very bottom of those options, it says membership gifting. And if you click that, then you can gift them to whoever you want to. Super Grunt, Dragon Ball Z. Okay, so and Arizona Boy says you do not like Dragon Ball. Okay. I do not know Happy Tree Friends. Z Book says Matrix and Fight Club are millennial. They can't take that away from us. Oh, Z Books. Ooh, that's tough. I'm not even disagreeing with you, but oh, that's tough. Because Fight Club came out in the late 90s. Most millennials are still kids. I was still a kid. Uh, Matrix, same thing, 99. Ooh, but millennials have kind of culturized the Matrix because we came up with the terms red pill and blue pill, and that's part of we really popularized them, I would say. But you know what I'm saying? My generation has made red pill and blue pill part of the political and cultural vernacular when it was not 10, 15 years ago. First rule of Fight Club is do not talk about Fight Club. Though I've heard, listen, guys, okay? I'm not trying to stir anything up. I'm not trying to start anything, but I've heard, and not that there's anything wrong with this, but I've heard that Fight Club is about, in fact, alternative lifestyles. I'll leave it there. It's supposed to be a metaphor. So I don't know. I'm not trying to move. Not trying to. There's nothing like I said. Not that I have a problem with that, but it changes my view of the movie maybe slightly. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not saying it is, and I'm not saying it's not. We also had fight clubs when UFC became popular. Yeah, I remember when UFC was just like a back room. You couldn't even get it at Blockbuster. Let's see. Cappy says, I thought dude was schizo. I'm just kind of messing around. I've heard people say that, but I like Fight Club. And yeah, I think, what's the guy's name? Edward Norton was a schizo in the movie. The local authorities was concerned because most of the fighters were underage. Where? Oh, you're saying, yeah, in your local town. Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I first got out of high school, there was a lot of like underground MMA. And a lot of my friends were going into that because it's kind of a natural progression if you want to make any money with your wrestling experience. And a lot of those shows, I'd go to them and support the guy. And it's like, bro, this is just like a cage in somebody's backyard, you know? MMA has come a long way in 20 years. Little Rascals had the He-Man Woman Haters Club. What's the high sign? Give me the high sign. Let's see. We had Fight Clubs. Okay. Oh my gosh, Fight Club is so awesome. Yeah, it's a great movie. 1990s Fight Club was Gen X all the way. Damien said, yeah, Damien, I gotta agree with you on that. 1990s. So it's like, yeah, us millennials I was in 6th grade, basically. 99, I would have been in 7th grade, I think, 8th grade. So we're kids. We're just kids. So most of us didn't even watch Matrix and Fight Club for a couple of years. Comic Dog says I was born in 82. I can't tell if I'm a millennial or Gen X. As far as I know, millennial starts at 80. So you should be firmly ensconced in millennial. And I even know Gen X, like they were born in 79. And it's like, you're way more of a millennial than a Gen X. Let's see. I think it goes, baby boomers go from 46 to, I believe, 64. And then Gen X is 64 to 80. And then 80 to 95, right? Somewhere in there is millennial. I mean, who really cares, though? Though, I guess, yeah, as we progress, we see a fair amount of difference. I don't think there's as much difference between Gen Z and millennials as they like to think, but there's quite a bit. So who knows? Let's see. Calvin of Calvin and Hobbes is the president of GROSS. I forgot about that. I haven't heard that reference in a long time. Oh, Artemio, you heading out, man? Let's see. Well, I'm heading off to watch your new episode. Thanks, man. Go check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. Thank you for the stream and good night, everyone. Yeah, thanks for coming by, dude. Come on by tomorrow. We'll be back 12 p.m. Eastern for a coffee talk. Technically, I'm a boomer, says Happy Cappy. I'm 64. But boomer, listen, man, boomers catch a lot of flack. And I kind of get it sometimes, but that's just to say boomer is a mindset. So like I know so many very cool, very, very cool people in their 60s, 70s, 80s. It's just I think the generations a lot of times are a marketing tool too, but yeah, it's not inherently a pejorative. And I remember I feel like they've kind of eased up on millennials in the last couple of years, but for when it was like 5 or 10 years ago, like millennials were the everyone hated millennials. And like I said, I get it, but now it's kind of the ire has been drawn by boomers. My parents are boomers. I don't know, my parents are kind of in between, I guess. No, 81 is Gen X. That's when they have told us back in the day when I was in school. All right, but it just depends on what source you read, because I've seen 80. So it's just and it's an ambiguous thing. Like it's not like people change just because they're born. I was born in 79, and now I was born in 1980, and I'm a completely different person. Let's see. Born in 64 says Happy Cappy. I was raised Gen X. Makes sense. Makes sense. My dad jokes about it all the time. My parents are boomers, says Arizona Boy. My dad jokes about it all the time. Boomers are great, says Bama Deanna. I mean, every generation has got its drawbacks and has its real astounding achievers and astounding people, and they have just crap heads. Every generation. I think I'm one of the young ones. I'm 19. Are you, Artemio? Right on, man. Glad to have you. And like I was talking about last night, I think Gen Z catches too much flack right now too. I know a lot of Gen Z, and they're my boys. I think I like Gen Z's sense of humor. Let's see. And you know what? I like a lot of boomer sense of humor, right? A lot of boomer jokes as well. Because when I watch old SNL, uh, let's say with especially Belushi and like that era, or I watch Blues Brothers or Caddyshack, I'm like, this is hilarious. This is really, really funny and kind of like right up my alley for a sense of humor. I don't know what that says about me, but this trend of blaming the baby boomer generation for everything is dangerous. And it seems like it just rotates, Space Cowboy. Millennials were catching all the flack, boomers catch all the flack. And it's like kind of crossfire, like boomers blame Gen Z for everything, Gen Z and millennials blame boomers for everything. I don't think anything comes of it. It's just bickering. Boomers worked their asses off for us Gen Xers. Yeah, they sure did. I'm like pretty ambivalent on the generational divide. I think a lot of it is made up, and I think there's really good and really bad parts about every generation. That's why I'm so like ardent to make the point that's like, listen, I'm not absolving my generation from that. What's up, Mojo? You just getting here? Bless ups, HOKC. Bless ups, Mojo. Bama Deanna says, you are still wet behind the ears, Artemio Moreno. I mean, to be so lucky, though. To be so lucky. Technically a millennial. I was born in 96, and that's the last year millennials could be born. My wife is Gen Z. Yeah, that's just like that's a pretty cool time to be born, though. That's not a bad time, I would think. Let's see. Boomers are the ones that took advantage of good times. Elite Super Grunt created by you're saying the Elite Super Grunt is saying the good times make soft men, and soft men make hard times, and hard times make hard men kind of argument. Yeah, there is a lot of vitriol between generations right now. Maybe this is the most divisive I think I've seen it. Um, I was working out, have 30 full body crunches left. If that's true, right on, man. I still got to work out today. I got to work out after this. I like late night workouts. I hate worse than waking up at like those people that wake up at 4 in the morning to work out. It's like I think they should be committed somewhere. I blame the so-called greatest generation for letting their kids run amok in the 60s. Kind of look, I don't want to be too unpopular, but yeah. I mean, like I said, every generation has its drawbacks, and I agree with you, Clock Cutter, at least to a reasonable degree. To a reasonable degree. There's a southern way of saying, yeah. Did he not know what you meant? Bamadiana. I know what you mean, wet behind the ears. Gen X is the new silent generation. Kind of, man. Kind of. Space Cowboy. That's interesting. I've never seen somebody say that, but yeah, I mean, that resonates with me. I'll tell you who I don't blame. That's World War II era. Okay, and that's interesting because Clock Cutter says they deserve some blame for letting their kids run amok in the 1960s. So that's an interesting conversation. All the boomer and now farmer rancher hate smacks of Mao's Red Guard, Stalin, kulaks. Is there a lot of, well, yeah, I guess on like in some, I'm just so ensconced in like kind of a rural rancher farmer culture that I don't hear a lot of anti-rancher farmer sentiment. But yes, legally, there's a lot of crackdowns on our ranchers and farmers that are making it very, very hard for them to make a living. And I would not disagree that yes, there are strong hints of the red of Maoism in there for sure, for sure. I think yes, it's very, 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 very hard to be a rancher in this country. I may be young, but I have an old soul. Yeah, of course, dude. Like, don't worry about it, bro. We're glad to have you here. If we don't get young people, we're never gonna, preserve our history. I don't know if you were here when I said it, but I love Gen Z, man. Let's get more of them in here. Their kids had freedom to run amok. Says, are you talking about uh, the greatest, the silent generation, greatest generation, however we want to phrase it? They fought for the freedom. Yeah, for sure. Kids now run a lot. Kids now run a lot more muck than in the 1960s. Kids, says Bamadiana. Bamadiana, no kidding. I feel older than I am. Let's see what Stripe Hat is saying. Where is Stripe Hat? Stripe Hat. I'm not sure. I'm missing. How am I missing Stripe Hat in the chat here? Stripe Hat, Stripe Hat, Stripe Hat. I don't see Stripe Hat in the chat. That's weird. Every generation wants to make it easier for their children, and that's where we get into the problem. Yeah, I mean that's a pretty circumspect thing to say, Stephen Miller. Tell people that, and they think they look at you like a cow. Ironically, oh, you're saying that about the farmer rancher hate and boomer hate, smacking of Maoism. Arizona boy says, I feel bad for my kids. I'm genuinely concerned about their future. That's fair. Arizona, my youngest is 34. Your youngest kid. Gotcha. My grandparents went through the war, says Happy Cappy. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't think anybody even, well, maybe the boomer generation, but even then it's like, we don't really understand the totality of World War II because we just weren't there. Not our fault, but we weren't there. As far as Gen Z kids, they've been socially engineered to be little green brigade warriors. Some of them, you'd be surprised how some of them are. Yeah, that's certainly true for some of them, and some of them are way, way far. I'm trying to be relatively apolitical with my language because I don't mean this as a necessary political point, but no, they are. There are some extremist views in the Gen Z population. They aren't afraid to take a stance. I think they are down to pick a side and then really run with it, like the Khmer Rouge. Yeah, the anti-farmer sentiment. Yeah. Or I don't mean that dismissively. I'm just saying I know what you mean, Space Cowboy. But I think like they catch too much flack right now. We're saying the boomers catch too much flack, and that's fair. And Gen Z just catches too much flack. We don't, and I understand, right? But they've got a lot of potential, and the ones that I interact with are cool dudes, and they're pretty based. Seen some Ring doorbell videos of Gen Z door smashers, door dashers tampering with the food they've just delivered. I wouldn't doubt it. But I mean, they're also kids, It's a tough line for me to tread. I'm not defending the things they do, but I have more respect for a vet than a hippie boomer. Sure, elite super grunt. I don't think that's a particularly controversial stance. Meanwhile, corporations monopolize industry, and my America inherit I only pick fights with weaker nations. Quixotic realities. Quixotic realities. Are you new? That's the first time I've seen you. Good take, man. Glad to see you here. That's a good name. I like that. Happy Cappy says my grandson is 21. That's a fun age to be. Arizona boy 96. Arizona boy says I'm still wet behind the ears. I think you are, Arizona boy. I think you are. What are you, 30 now? It depends on who you ask. Everybody will tell you you're wet behind the ears. Just depends on how old they are, really, how much experience they have. because they don't like the political leanings of the person they just delivered the food to. Yeah, I mean, like, that's not good. I think there's a lot more video of Gen Z doing things, and they are more inclined to video themselves doing stupid things. But I just don't like to see a blanket condemnation of a generation, regardless of which generation. Me and some Gen Xers I know have a lot of sympathy for Gen Z. They're in a hard place right now. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. And some of the ones that I understand this is anecdotal, but even statistically, they are more likely to be on the extremes of whatever position they take. So if nothing else, they're down to take a stance. Quixotic Reality says, "Thanks, man. Yeah, man. Glad to see you here. That's a new name, and I'll remember that." Let's see. Oh, Mojo says, "Hit the like." Yes, we have 37 people in here. We only have 33 likes, so make sure that you hit the like button and share this stream with anybody else who likes sports history. Sorry, I've been watching sports today. Anybody else who likes history? Oh, we talk some sports on here. Share it with your Gen Z friends, your millennial friends, your baby boomer friends, your Gen X friends, your Gen Alpha friends. Hey, they're coming up. Let's see. I've been working full time since really? Have you been working full time since you're 11, Arizona boy? I mean, wet behind the ears is an age term, but you're a grown man, friend. I dropped out of school to help my mom pay bills. That's a grown man, dude. Right on. I'm sorry that you had to do that, but like man to man, right on, dude. You're a real one. Terry R says later HOKC, calling it a night. Thanks for another great live chat. Yeah, thank you too, Terry R. We'll be getting out of here pretty soon ourselves. I got to try and make it to HEB tonight too, guys. And they close at 11. Gen Z is tired of the hypocrisy and everything. Yep, I agree. I think many of us are. And that's all I'll say. That's all I say. But I agree with you, Stephen Miller. Oh, Bama, I love that for you. My daughter was born on Mom's Day. Wait, Bama, yeah. My granddaughter turned 15 on December 1st. Her birthday is the same as mine. Oh yeah, we celebrated your birthday. Right on. That's a fun age to be as well. 15 was a fun time. Arizona, same here. Let's see. I became a grandmother on my 39th birthday. Really? Oh man. I'm 39. I'm not ready to be a granddad. I'll tell you that. Let's see. That's awesome though. That's great, Bamadiana. More people should have kids younger, in my opinion. Let's see. I think everyone is fed up with our government. True. When I left the military, I was asked what I was going to do besides, I guess I'll build stuff. I know how to build a house, says Elite Super Grunt. Well, man, tell you what, I know it's a contentious subject, but AI ain't going to build any houses. So I think that's a good job to have. Let's see. All right, guys, let's go another 5 minutes and we'll wrap it up for the night. That way I can get ready for tomorrow's stream. I thought these were two cool stories I wanted to share with you guys, though, because we've been on a kind of Herman Lehmann kick. Let's see. Okay, I think we're caught up on the chats. Any questions about tomorrow's stream or any of the episodes for tomorrow or upcoming episodes or the Herman Lehmann book? Anything else we can cover before we jump out of here? Bammy Deanna, I was 19 when my first was born. My mom was 19, yeah. 20 when my second was born. From what I mean, like, I don't know. I think we like millennials made that kind of a weird thing. And that's a terrible thing that we made that weird, because that's really cool. Have kids when you're young, and then you can, enjoy your grandkids. To a Marxist, hypocrisy is a subconscious power flex. Interesting. I know how to build birdhouses. Hopefully that's enough. Yeah, I think that's the extent of my knowledge. I'm a serviceable welder, I would say. Serviceable. I started working at 15 after my dad passed. Oh man, Artemio Morin. So that was a couple of years ago, huh? I still went to school and I did bad in school. Yeah, so did I, buddy. So since I knew I wasn't graduating, I just dropped out and now I work full time. Hey man, it's about making the money anyways, dude. And like we were saying to Elite Super Grunt, that's a job that AI is not going to take. So, and I think it's important to have the degree. It's important, like that's all good, but it's more important to know how to work. There's a lot of people that don't know how to do that. What is tomorrow's stream, Arizona boy? I don't know yet. That's all I got to go figure out. I was 18 when Amber was born. Fantastic. That's my like I said, my mom had me very young too. And I'm very grateful for that because also as kids, you can enjoy your parents. I was also helping my mom pay bills when I was at school or man, you guys are studs, dude. That is humbling because I didn't do that. I just got through high school. So it's humbling to hear stories like that. And it fires me up too to like go work hard myself. You always think you're working hard, and then you see somebody that is really working hard, and you think, you know what? I gotta get it together here. Bama Deanna had a hysterectomy at 22, so you decided that's enough. But that's hey, man, I uh, I get it. Building houses ain't easy. No, no, it's not. But it's a tell you what, it's a skill they can't take away from you. And like I, not harping on AI here, just saying that's you're not gonna have to worry about your job security there. My last two kids was 1 year apart and 1 day apart. I had four daughters when the baby was a boy. Wow. But that's hey, I'm sure you can enjoy all of them now, but happy Cappy. I'm a baby boomer raising a Gen Z, says Stephen Miller. Hey, that's all right. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I think a lot of these generational labels are kind of made up. People are still people. I'm surprised how open Gen Z is to stuff because when I show them, like, if you show Gen Z whatever, Pink Floyd, they're like, "Yo, this is pretty dope." Like, they're way more open to it than I think even millennials were. I can weld, says engineer Hickory Stripe Hat. I know how to weld. I used to work in a junkyard. Now, don't get me wrong, engineer. I'm not saying like I'm a master welder. I'm just saying like I'm serviceable. I paid rent since I was 16, or we'd be evicted, says Mojo. See, you guys are studs, man. You guys are like legit full grown men. I like it. I left home at 13, says Happy Cappy. Wow, man. That's, or not man. Sorry. I'm just saying that as a colloquial term, right? But that's great to hear this stuff. It's really, it's humbling. It's, uh, you know, like I said, you guys are inspiring for me. I'd say that because life isn't easy for anybody, but yeah, it's a tough thing for everybody. And you guys are really stepping up to the plate here, especially at such a young age. That's tough. That's tough. I got one more interview tomorrow, and then I'll make my choice. Cool, Arizona boy, right on. I've been rooting for you and praying for you, man. I got several offers on the table. I remember, I think it was last week, you said you got the first one on the table. So I'm not surprised it's snowballed for you since then. Let's see. I'm just done cooking and washing up. Now you want to close shop? Well, the problem is, Nick Sweeney, I got to get to HEB before it closes, and I got to think up a topic for tomorrow's lunchtime stream for our coffee chat. I mostly do tile and flooring, says Elite Super. That's good. I mean, that's a great skill, though, dude. I started digging holes and I learned GSI and CAD and key. Okay, cool. I wish I had learned that in high school as well. That would be a skill that made you some actual money. I just grew up on a family farm in Nebraska, raised by my grandparents. Says Quixotic Realities. Yeah, I grew up on a ranch in California and right next to my grandparents, which is a blessing. I'm happy we had a home. Absolutely. Some old George Jones and some Waylon is where it's at. Absolutely. Waylon's probably my number one country artist of all time. That's an inspiring guy, a guy who did it his way. Let's see. At 16, I was making more money than my high school teachers. Right on, Stephen Miller. That's what's up, dude. Big time flex. Thank you all. My wife is sick of me being at home all the time. I'm sure you're sick of it too, Arizona boy. But we never doubted you, man. We never doubted you. I knew you'd come up with something. You may be excused, Mr. HOKC. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Thanks for keeping me warm in this snowstorm, y'all, man. Thanks for coming by, dude. Hope you can make it by tomorrow for our coffee chat. I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none, says Bama Deanna. Same here. Same here. I'm working on being a master of YouTube. So be a jack of all trades, a master of one. Mojo says the possum. Absolutely. If you've never seen George Jones singing Take Me in the studio, you can YouTube it right now. George Jones singing Take Me. Take me. Take me to your darkest room. Fantastic. I would also need a new laptop, says Elite Super Grunt. If I had a GSI program, I could help out on making maps for the show. I would also need a new laptop. Well, if you ever get one, man, yeah, we'll take you up on that. I do need kind of more maps. It would be incredible. Quixotic, never get rid of it. What are we talking about there? I think it's awesome to be an American with land in my family for 200 plus years. Yeah, that is awesome, man. Don't let go of it. That's a legacy of nature. Absolutely. Uh, it would be incredible. Yeah, it's an absolute blessing, and do all you can to hang on to it. All right, guys, we're just past 3 hours. I've had an absolute blast hanging out with you all tonight. Really fun conversation. I think this has been one of the best conversations that we've had here. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all again to everybody that donated, Elite Super Grunts. Uh, Gosh, we had a bunch of them. It's been a while, so now I'm slipping my mind, but I will come back and thank you all tomorrow too. Um, yeah, thank you for all the support. Thank you all for coming out. Have you seen GFR doing Inside Looking Out on YouTube? No. Okay, okay. Let me go look that up, dude. I'm sorry, I just say dude, but Bama Deanna, I uh, highly respect your music knowledge, and I was just talking about how much I love GFR. So cool. I'm gonna go look that up. There's no bad GFR song for me. The stream was peak, said Evan. Yeah, man, this was really fun. Don't forget the chocolate and blue cheese s'mores. I'm gonna go look that up after this too. I'm gonna go look up s'mores and listen to Grand Funk Railroad. Y'all have a good evening and better Thursday. Yeah, everybody have a good night. And thank you all very much for coming out. A jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. Fair enough. I like that. I feel like that's a Marine quote, Elite Super Grunt. 3 hours in, craziness. Now tell me about it, man. But time flies. This just went by like that. So nothing better than talking history and just BSing and trading views on stuff. And I really appreciate how everybody has differing views on a lot of stuff, and everybody gets along, and everybody is we all have a conversation like grown adults, and so that's a rarity these days, I think, so to have such a level of decorum. So I really appreciate all of you, and I appreciate everyone's input. I learn a lot. So yeah, I just had a great time. This has been one of the best ones we've done. So thank you all for coming out. Come on back tomorrow for our 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific coffee chat, and then 8 p.m. tomorrow Eastern, we'll have another episode out, and then we'll do a late night stream. Sounds like everybody is down for that. So thank you all again. Y'all have a wonderful night, and thank you all for all the support. And that's all I can think of. So thanks again. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.